Hello, love wrestling. It's Thursday night. It's 8 p.m. And you know what that means. It's another new episode of Between Two Beards.
Can we start off with the biggest news of the week? The Rats lost!
If you've got the budget, I've got the time.
There he is.
Hey, boss!
There's the boss.
Hey! The man with the finest beard on this screen. Canadian men, boys, shut the hell up. Let me talk.
You see, the Rads are resourceful. When I got beef with somebody, I can find a way to talk to them.
Watch and listen between two beers.
Getting down.
Hello, love wrestling. It is Thursday night, and it is 8 p.m. And you all know what that means. Episode 175, Pluggo. 175. Are you acknowledging? Oh. Are you doing the rock? Did you just pull the rock on me? It's Between Two Beards. Welcome in, everybody. I think you did like...
That felt awesome! That felt so good to just show up for 30 seconds, not leave. Oh, I wish I could do that all the time.
He put out a thing today that already said, see you down the road. Like, that was it. That's all you're getting to me. Yeah. That's all you're getting to me.
That
for
was
a few
awesome.
Months.
Can I do that all the time? Just show up and leave?
Yeah. No, don't do that.
Greatest podcast in history. No.
Yeah, that would have been what a way to go. That would have been, huh?
Welcome to Between Two Beards. Peace.
Pluggos up.
Anyway.
A big one tonight.
I digress.
A real big one tonight. Very excited for the guests that we have that we're going to bring on here very, very shortly. But first and foremost, as always, how are you doing this week, buddy?
I'm good. I didn't know that my car company made phone calls this late. I was like, who's calling me?
People calling you about business right now? It's 8 o'clock at night.
I know. They must want some money or something. I don't know. I'm doing good though. I'm fantastic. It's been a crazy week. There's a lot on the horizon this weekend. So there's a lot to talk about today.
There is. And we got
what about you, bud? How are you?
You know, I'm feeling good. Excited about WrestleDream. Excited to talk about Bad Blood with the two guys we're going to be bringing on here momentarily. I'm feeling good. I'm excited. There is a lot to talk about. There's already been a lot of wrestling this week. NXT was really good, I thought, this week. Dynamite was okay, but WrestleDream's looking like it's going to be good. I'm excited. As long as we don't bring up Boston sports at all, I'm all right, because it's not good times. It's not good times.
Hello, Beards. Hello, Dustin. Shout out to Dustin, friend of the show. He's fantastic.
I mean, I think Pluggo tonight is an occasion where we don't need to beat around the bush. We don't need to beat.
No, I don't think so.
No. So
I mean,
why don't
that would just be disrespectful to our guests.
It would.
Who we are going to bring on at this time.
Do it.
They are from the wrestling with. Oh, you're okay. I'm just gonna go like this.
Yeah.
Because we have problems. They are from Wrestling with the Homies podcast. It's Quan the Don. If you don't say the Don, you're saying it wrong. And Jay Cooley, aka Cooley. What's up, guys?
What's up?
What's going on here?
What's happening? Yeah. Very excited
to be here. Happy to be here.
Long Island Pod.
Very excited to have you guys here. Yeah, Long Island Wrestling Pod popping in saying hello. How are you guys doing tonight? How are you?
You know, it's not tonight for us. We're on the West Coast. It's
that is true.
Sun's out. It's hot out. It's
making me
birds
jealous.
chirping and everything out there.
You're making me
But, yeah,
jealous.
we're doing
It's
good.
cold and dark.
It's hot out. You're still
Cold and dark
bundled.
over
You're still bundled up. You got the hoodie, the beanie on.
This is what we do. This is what we do. LA.
It's beautiful outside. It's still beautiful outside. Sun's still up. Sun's still up.
Heck yeah.
Yeah,
No,
that's
so I
amazing.
definitely we're super excited to have you guys. For those that don't know, I doom scroll Twitter quite. I suggest you do the same. And if you doom scroll enough, you'll find these lovely gentlemen here doing their thing. That's where I found them. They have a podcast as well on all podcast platforms. So I'll let them tell you about that at some point. Steal all their thunder. So
Yeah.
we're so psyched to have you. So first and foremost, we have to ask, let our fans that don't know you, how did you guys become the Wrestle with the Homies podcast? How did that come to be? How did you two link up? I got to know the scoops, man.
Oh, this is a funny one. So me and Cooley have known each other for at least 13 or 14 years, but neither of us knew the other was a wrestling fan until like maybe 5 years ago.
Really?
Oh,
Just
wow.
never came up in conversation at all or anything?
No, it was
Wow.
just something that we kind of just kept aside until finally it came out, and it was like, hey, let's start a wrestling
You're like,
podcast.
I don't want people to know this.
Yeah.
Yeah, we was in college, and we was busy turning up, and we wasn't.
Hey, it happens.
running this.
Yeah. It happens. It happens. I always tell people.
Listen, back then, 14 years ago, right? Like wrestling wasn't as cool as it is now. So you're like, I'm a wrestling fan, and people are like, oh, especially if you're in college. You're not like, what's up, ladies? Did you see Raw last night?
This Clay and
Yeah, exactly.
Right?
That's
not a topic of the conversation.
Lord Tensai, you haven't did a deep dive into Lord Tensai? You got to do that.
Right. But yeah, we decided to come together and make Wrestling with the Homies, which is our podcast. We go live Monday through Friday on YouTube, and it's a really fun show. It's a lot different than what you typically see from these wrestling podcasts, because we kind of view wrestling as this silly pastime that we all love. We respect it. It's an art form, but it's also people in tights having a choreographed fight. So we watch it through that lens of it being silly. So it's a lot of jokes, a lot of tongue-in-cheekness.
Yeah.
But it's a fun time. It's a fun time for the audience. So I advise everyone out there, come tap in, come tune in.
Yes.
With the homies. Please.
Yeah, go check them out. The clips, it's a lot of fun, and I like that vibe. It's one of those things where there are a ton of good wrestling podcasts you can go listen to. And as creators, even when Pluggo and I were starting this show, we made it a point when we were like, what's the idea? What are we doing? We were like, okay, how do we differentiate what we do a little bit? Then, because you can go find, like I said, a bunch of great podcasts that are just, they're talking about this, they're talking about, so how do we be different? How do we do things differently? And I think that, like Pluggo said, we loved your vibe. We were excited when we could work this out. It's because you have that vibe where it's like, yeah, you can tell you guys love wrestling and you're passionate about wrestling, but you don't take it too serious because it's pro wrestling. There's nothing really serious to take about it.
Was that a conscious decision on your guys' part? Like, did you take time to find that sweet spot of like, I love having these conversations with other creators because like we went through the same process, like figuring it out. When did you guys realize the sweet spot was like, we're going to just have so much fun with this and we don't need to break down rest hold after rest hold. We just need to wild out a little bit and have fun.
You know what? Coolly, it kind of happened on accident, right? Like we were doing one thing and then one day we just started clowning around and that kind of caught on fire. We started getting these videos that went viral and it kind of showed me like, hey, people like to have fun with this wrestling stuff. So let's have fun. Let's really have fun. We can debate it. We can criticize it. We can get all down to the X's and O's, but at the end of the day, it still should be fun because it's wrestling. So once we got that chemistry going,
we kept it rolling.
Yeah.
Kept it rolling.
Yeah, like that's how I love to like look at wrestling. Is it's supposed to be fun. Now, if you look at the comment sections of people don't catch that vibe. They don't catch the silliness. They're like, "How dare you?" But you guys do a great job of balancing it out. So that's really cool. Like, and then when did you guys realize as the show's progressed? You've been doing it for 5 years now. When did you guys realize that like it's really starting to gain that momentum? Because you could be in this game for a long time and feel like you're not quite where you want to be. And then all of a sudden, boom, it just takes off. And I think you guys are right at that cusp right now.
Well,
Right.
we started a year ago. It wasn't 5. It started.
Oh,
a year
just
ago.
you met 5 years ago.
Yes.
Well, figured out
Okay.
they love wrestling 5 years ago.
Got it.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
the pod came a year ago. It was me, Quan, and our other brother Sylvan. We came together. We always wanted to, do something like this.
Mm.
So, we got in the trenches, and it was very seriousness, and we was trying to find our gear. And then this year, like Quan said, we had some clips that went off, and we started being ourselves. And
You know what it was for me?
Been
It
up.
was our brother Sylvan. He had a video where he was screaming at the top of his lungs about Cody Rhodes' championship run, and we knew it was a joke on the podcast because we were like laughing about it beforehand. But that little that clip, it kind of just took a life of its own. Hundreds of people started replying to it, and that kind of showed me like, hey, we're starting to gain some traction.
Yeah, we got something
It's
here.
starting to move. It's starting to
CJPJ, you need to yell more.
Pluggo yells. So we talked like a minuscule amount before the show about you guys are both from Los Angeles. I'm from Boston. So in a certain sport, just in the sports realm, we don't like each other. We don't like each other. Just in that way. Yeah, we were talking, and so sometimes Pluggo knows what pushes my buttons. So he'll say something because he knows here comes the Boston. He's gonna get angry.
And I always clip it, and it works.
And it works, but I don't do that all the time because I don't want to be the angry Boston guy all the time. Even though I know that would probably work for me, but I don't want to be that guy all the time.
An angry guy from Boston.
I know, who would have thought? But after the show, Pluggo is always like, "You got to do that all the time, man. You just got to be that all the time." I'm like, "Well, what if I don't want to be?" And he's like, "No, that is what's you got to do it." And I'm like, "All right, fine." Not that I like do it like on purpose, you know what I mean?
Because it pops me, and I'm all about. I'm of the firm belief, and I wonder if you guys are aligned. We'll get to Dustin's question in the chat, but just being authentic and doing you, and then just hoping people resonate, opposed to like trying to do things that maybe don't fit your vibe, and then like that to me just doesn't come off. That's what we do. We're just like, just do whatever, and it'll all work out. That's awesome. Dustin has a question. He wants to know, when did Cooley and Quan first start watching wrestling? So you guys didn't know you were
going
wrestling
way back.
when
When
you
you
go
figure out
way
you fell in
back.
love with this stuff?
so
first Cooley.
I started watching wrestling. I was 8 or 9, 89. I mean, I said 89, 98, 99. And then, like, my most vivid memory was in 2000 when the Attitude Era was at its peak, and I used to always see Stone Cold coming out, causing a ruckus, beating up his boss, and that's when I just fell in love with it. And I seen Kane with the fire, and Undertaker used to scare me. It was just an amazing time. But Attitude Era, that's my era right there.
Quite a
So
time.
I always tell this story. The very first memory I have with pro wrestling, it was the lead in to the Royal Rumble in 2000. And I remember not knowing anything about anything. So I'm watching SmackDown, and Mankind is coming down to the ring addressing Triple H, who's in the ring. But Mankind is pretty much saying like, hey, like, I don't think that I'm man enough to do this. I can't beat you, but I know someone who can. And he takes the mask off, and he reveals that Cactus Jack is facing you at Royal Rumble. Now, me as a child, I'm like, okay, Cactus Jack is him, just without a mask. I didn't understand it, but it stood out. I was hooked from then, and then now here we are.
Yeah, that was that.
When was the Foley entered in all 3 phases? He did the Dude Love at Mankind and Cactus Jack at the Rumble. What year was that?
That might have been like 99.
Yeah, something like that. I think that was before that when they did.
It was a little bit before I started watching.
Yeah.
Mankind is my. And then you just fell in love with it, huh?
Fell in love right away. Just the dramatization of it. The fact that Triple H was losing his goddamn mind because he had to face the same person just without a mask. That intrigued me. I'm like, wait, what?
Yeah.
Triple H and Mankind, Mick Foley, that was a hell of a rivalry they had. I feel like it doesn't get talked about enough as like the good rival. Like, obviously you talk about the top tier rivalries, but like they had especially when he tuned into Cactus. They had that great match at the Garden where Cactus did the pile driver through the table on the ramp. They had the Hell in a Cell where he fell through and that retired Mick and stuff. Like they had a good little feud, those two guys against each other. It was really, it was really, really good. Now, so you grew up, kind of both started watching in that Attitude Era. Did you, obviously WCW didn't last much longer than the year 2000, but like you know, at a certain point when you're kind of both still kind of newish to wrestling, there was really only one, you know, WWE was by itself a little bit until you had TNA and stuff like. Were you strictly WWE kids the whole time, or did you once you started loving wrestling, did you try to or go like we had video stores when I was younger. I'm a little bit older than you guys. I started watching in like the early to mid 90s. I was in like 6th, 7th grade when the Attitude Era was.
The running joke here is JPJ likes all wrestling that was in black and white.
Oh, oh man!
Not that you're much older than I am, JPJ, but that is a fun
but
joke.
Like obviously, in the height of that, we had the NWO and we had, you know, the Monday Night Wars, and then, you know, so I was watching both. I was really WWE was priority for me always, but I did watch other things. Were you guys strictly WWE kids, or did you kind of move around and try to watch other stuff?
I was split. I used to watch Nitro, so we used to flip the channels back and forth. And that's when I recognized Sting. I'm like, who's this guy with the white and black face paint coming from the rafters? Like, that was just amazing to me. And of course, you can't forget about the NWO. And I forgot what year it was. It maybe probably 01 or 2000. Dennis Rodman was randomly.
Oh yeah, 90. I
was like, what is going on?
Was it 98?
98 because it was Malone and DDP and Rodman and Hogan. What a time to be alive.
Hogan versus Karl Malone and DDP. And
we'll never see that again. We got Tyrese Halliburton and Jalen Brunson on SmackDown, but they're not wrestling because of those concepts. I still to this day can't believe they pulled that off.
Right.
And that was during the NBA Finals. Rodman was like famously, he kept like going back and forth.
They talk about that on The Last Dance.
Yeah.
Rodman just left and just went to do this wrestling thing for a week.
Rodman came back and he got 12 rebounds.
Yeah, came back and like the coach didn't want to play him, and Jordan was like, "We're playing him. We're playing him." Right? And he literally double-digit rebounds because he could do that in his sleep. Yeah. All right.
My journey with wrestling was a little different. So I was strictly WWF at the time.
Yep.
But then NWA TNA came around, and that's when I got introduced to guys like AJ Styles and CM Punk. And I'm like, who are these people? So I started to look more deeper into them, and I found Ring of Honor. And that's when I got into my rebellious stage. I was all in on the original ROH. Bryan Danielson was my guy. I rebelled against WWE. I didn't want the mainstream stuff anymore. I only wanted to see the Dragon Gate guys come in and all that. So I kind of veered off, but somehow, some way, I found my way back to WWE.
Yeah. And I mean, look at in WWE right now. I mean, about as hot as it's ever been. They're selling out left and right. They're breaking gate records now. Obviously, prices of things that affects that as well. So
fun fact, if you scour the comment sections of the Wrestling with the Homies podcast, the allegations are that you're not AEW guys.
That is an allegation.
This is crazy.
That is an allegation. So
have you been called shills yet? Have you officially?
You haven't officially. You haven't officially made it till you get accused of being on the payroll.
On the payroll,
literally. Oh, they're shilling just for engagement. It happens all the time. So the thing is, we poke fun at everything. I think WWE fans are kind of used to it because WWE was a punching bag for a long ass time.
Yeah.
But when it comes to AEW, they're very young, so their fans don't want them to be a punching bag. But there's punchlines in everything.
Yeah,
we love AEW. I promise. I love Tony Khan. I see Tony Khan in myself. Tony Khan is a guy who grew up as a fan of a thing.
Yep.
He had enough money to buy a thing and start a whole thing, so he did that.
Mm-hmm.
We all wish we could do that.
Oh yeah. All of us.
Like AEW props. Come on, we give AEW props all the time.
Listen. I full shoot. If I signed Will Ospreay to a multi-million-dollar deal, I'd probably awkwardly hug him too.
Literally. The amount of 5-star matches he's had. He gets
he had one every month up until like recently. Like Meltzer he had one every month this year. He's on fire. I'm gonna RFA McKinnon 2. What is your guys' favorite show of the week? Raw, SmackDown, Dynamite, Collision, TNA. That one's for Cooley. LOL.
Woo! Okay, so over the weeks it's been changing. So recently, oh man, I fell in love with TNA. They've been putting on figures. The storylines is amazing. But of course, you can't go wrong with SmackDown being that Roman is back and we're getting that bloodline versus Cody again. And The Rock is here, so we'll see where this goes for now. But
Is he?
Nah, I think he showed up. I think he already said he's gone again.
He's like,
it down.
Yeah.
He's like Mrs. Pluggo. What's up, honey? The love of my life.
Mrs. Pluggo, we
What's
always
up,
have to
honey?
acknowledge-
She's gonna say something, but then she's probably gonna bounce.
Yeah. But,
I acknowledge her as my tribal chief.
Yeah. Yeah, I had the privilege of going up to Slammiversary this year for TNA. It was in Montreal, which is not a terrible drive for me. So I went up there, and TNA is doing some real good stuff. Real good stuff. I know the crossover with NXT has been giant for them. It's been cool to see Joe Hendry and a bunch of others, Jordan Grace among others. There's a bunch, yeah, in WWE NXT people going over there. That's been good for them. They've been selling out these big shows, which it's obviously been good business-wise for them too. Nemeth there, Josh Alexander. They got just a ton of talent, and they've really been doing some really good stuff. I went for that whole weekend at Slammiversary, and I was thoroughly impressed with everything I saw. I was like, that was just real good.
Amazing.
Real good. I'm really digging TNA as well. Not on that list, though, that I think NXT as well. NXT has been on fire. If you ask me right now, obviously it's a pay-per-view on Saturday, what the best wrestling show of the week was this week, I'm picking NXT. I thought NXT was the best show.
Sure.
It was unbelievable.
So our RFA mechanic asked that question to you, Cooley. Was he expecting you to go off a little bit on a tangent? But you're keeping it. You're keeping it
modest.
Keeping it live.
You're modest. You don't have to do that.
Dynamite was trash. Dynamite was trash.
Hey, that's fine. Hey.
It wasn't the best. Was
No, Dynamite was not good.
Hologram versus Commander. That'll put butts in the seat.
Yeah, listen, my thing
every 18 inches.
We obviously talk about the wrestling weeks here, but we try to be a little bit more looser. I do a show on Thursday mornings where we specifically talk about AEW. Dynamite was ass this week, and I'm obviously I do a show strictly about AEW. I love AEW. Dynamite was ass.
We do too. Like we're right there with you. We love it too, but that doesn't mean that they're not some criticism when they put on
Yeah.
I mean, you knew you were going against NXT. You knew NXT was bringing it because they've been promoting this show for months. You knew they had Randall K. Orton, John Evans in the main event, and you were like, Commander and Hologram. Let's go.
And then we got
friend of the show, Dan Brown. Said, of course, Dynamite was asked this week after I was on the podcast. Yeah, you missed out. And Deshaun Watson walked off the field the week after you showed up on this podcast. Yeah, he's a Cleveland Browns fan. We're not going to hold that against him.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry to hear that.
You got to play Jameis, man. You got to get Jameis in there. You got to do it.
Got to eat them W's, man.
He might throw 20 picks in 5 weeks, but at least you'll have hope. You'll have hope.
Right.
Oh, man, brutal. But no, that NXT show, I almost jumped through my roof when Obafemi lost. Couldn't believe it.
That was shocking. That was shocking because I feel like Tony D has been in NXT for a very long time.
Yeah.
He doesn't need anything else down there. Just call him up immediately, please.
I think so. But I
can I just say real quick the Obafemi Tony D thing? I was a firm believer that man should never ever take a pin and only retire belts on his way to the main roster. And I would have never in a million years picked Tony D'Angelo, as good as he's been and how he's evolved as a character since that iteration when they first started, ever thought he'd be the one to pin Obafemi. Oh,
in a roll-up.
God.
In a roll-up.
With a roll-up too. Yeah, it was just one of those, wow, all right. So I mean, it looks like Wes Lee is going to be going towards Trick in the heavyweight title, which I am very much excited for there.
Yes.
I could see Obafemi now that he needs to either, that's a guy to me, he could be on the main roster yesterday.
Yeah.
I mean, how does that not work anywhere you put him? He's like, I'm getting the vibes. It's obviously it's NXT. It's early. It's developmental and all these things. But I look at that guy
anymore.
I look at that guy and I immediately I'm like, this guy is like once in a, I don't want to throw it there because it's so early, but he has the look, the presentation. It's once in a generation type shit. and he's
Yeah.
25. Or
I
something.
think
20.
Obafemi and
I need to
Braun
see. I need
Breaker
to see a
me,
birth
Yeah,
certificate.
Braun Breaker as well. Braun Breaker as well.
these are two guys that if they were to beat Roman Reigns tomorrow, you would be like, that's surprising, but I get it.
Yeah.
It makes sense.
100%.
JPJ, if you don't, you might not remember this, but he was championing the idea of Braun beating Roman a little while back when when Breaker was at his like peak, if you will, in NXT. He was like, that would be a guy if you wanted to.
They teased me with last week, not this past Monday, but they teased me with that Braun and Gunther crossover,
Right?
And I was like,
Yeah.
oh baby, oh baby, and then Braun turned heel again on Monday, and I was like, all right, we can get back to that later, I guess.
It's like, Jay, I respect you.
Yeah,
You beat me. You're the better man. And you're like, oh, and then the next week he's like, nah.
But here's the thing. Here's the thing. If they would have done just that, and then he turned on Monday, I somehow would be like, okay, that I've understand. But when he does the crossover with Gunther in the back, I was like, okay, this whole night they've kind of shown you. Here's a glimpse of maybe a Braun Breaker face run in multiple situations, and it's like, look at the crowd's behind him anyway. They've been doing the dog barking, and he does that no matter what. He's the dogs tonight in Boston, that type of thing. It's an easy baby face thing that the crowd. You sell a shirt that says dogs and whatever. Come on now, the guy's gonna make millions of bucks.
His name is still trash though.
Yeah, it is.
You don't like the Breaker with the 2K?
Yeah,
2Ks.
But no,
whose idea was that?
I don't know.
I've never seen, by the way, I've never seen Braun Breaker get so angry until Jay was like, your NFL career was trash. It's like, that's what gets you mad?
I mean, yeah, probably.
I don't remember you making an NFL roster there, Braun. I don't remember.
Yeah, but
that.
still, if you try, you try.
Right.
Yeah, but I thought, we are getting that Braun Breaker babyface run down the line here. It will happen, and he's going to be a massive superstar. I see, like you said, Quan, I see, man, that guy.
I do miss.
Sky's the limit.
I do miss Michael Cole going the badass dog.
Why'd he stop? Why'd he stop?
Because he ain't on Raw anymore.
Oh, that's right. Joe
They moved
Tessitore
it.
is on Raw.
Tessitore does it all.
That's cool.
It's a professional commentary team now.
Yeah. Oh, we got Dustin saying that he's calling for the face-off between Omos and Obafemi in the Rumble next year. That would be nice.
If Omos
be
gets
nice.
away from Cologne reviewing, then we got it. We got it. We have a match.
Where is Omos?
Yeah, we got to go to SummerSlam in Cleveland, and Omos was part of the community event that we were at. And you see that famous picture of back in the day with Andre the Giant in black and white, and he's in an airport, and there's like a little kid like looking up at him like with his mouth agape, like holy crap, who the hell is this guy? And I went to Omos. I was like, can I take a picture with you? And he was like, yeah. I'm like, you ever see the Andre the Giant? And I told him about it. He's like, I think so. I go, I'm gonna be the little kid because I'm not a tall man. I'm not a tall man, and he's a tall man. And
I was having him help me with
and Plug was taking the picture. I'm just like, oh, and we reenacted it.
He's a sweetheart.
Omos, a sweetheart of a fella.
Yeah, you can tell from his cologne reviews that
it's
he
true.
does on
YouTube. He's got style. That guy's got.
What is his favorite? What is his favorite cologne? I have not seen these. Where are these? I need to see them.
Probably
What corner of the
what
corner of the wrestling internet are you guys on that you have that?
No, you know what? Not to give myself a cheap plug, but Omos followed us. He followed us on. So I was like, let me see what Omos is up to, and then I click on his page, and it's just cologne reviews, and it's like, oh yeah, that's what he's up to.
Keep getting them checks, Omos. Keep cashing them checks, baby.
Yeah.
If you're not going to be used on TV, you might as well do some cologne. I have to.
Or we can just use Omos. We can just push Omos.
You could.
They're not going to do it. I trust the regime right now.
What would you? Okay, what would you do with Omos, Quan? If you were gonna, what would you do with him?
Well, I mean, apparently, Braun Strowman pulled his groin or something. He might be out for a while. So Bronson Reed is going to need another giant to go against. Hey, we got a giant sitting at home reviewing Saint Laurent cologne. Bring him back to TV.
I will put Omos with R-Truth.
Oh,
no. Okay.
Why?
He goes, no. He said no.
Why? He's like, nah.
I don't want to see Omos dancing and laughing.
Yeah.
David and Goliath. Why not?
Our truth's gonna need some friends soon though, because Miz.
Hey.
I loved our truth on Monday being like, I forgive you, Miz. I'm not the judgment. I'm not judgment. I get how you'd make that
I'm not
mistake.
in the Judgment Day anymore.
That was hilarious.
I'm still mad at Miz, man. I said poor our truth, damn you, Miz, on Facebook, and some guy goes, poor our truth, following the script, making all that money. Way to feel real sad for him. I'm like,
oh my god.
I was like, guys, this is wrestling.
Obviously, if you say abhorrent shit, like you can piss off, but like those type of comments frustrate me more than the dumbest shit I've ever read.
I'd rather you just call me a moron than
I go, how do you like if you're watching the show and that is your mentality? How do you enjoy any of the nonsense that we see every week? How do you, if you cannot expand your mind to understand what we are watching in pro wrestling, which is nonsense, in the best way, best way.
Yeah.
You know what?
What?
So we actually went through that recently. We were making fun of The Rock for having his bubble title. I like to call it the bubble title, like the Lakers bubble ring. He's just carrying it around like it matters. So we're laughing at it. We're making fun of it. And some guy in the comments is like, way to show that you don't understand wrestling. It's clearly just a part of the thing. And at first I got upset, but then I clicked on his profile and I'm like, oh, this is a 13-year-old. It all makes sense.
Yeah, maybe that's
coming at us.
Wait a minute. Now I'm wearing the Lakers hat. You're making fun of the Lakers bubble.
Is what it is.
Nobody, if anybody else would have won that title, we wouldn't be clowning it. Let's be honest. Let's be honest. It's just because it was
I'm just pandering. I'm pandering right now. I'm the biggest Laker fan, I promise you.
I always say that. I'm like, if any of those other superstars got their first ring, if Jimmy Butler would have won that title with the Heat or something, we'd have been like, good for Jimmy to persevere through COVID and make it through this bubble and all this scandalous Rachel Nichols talk. But no, Braun wins it and it's a Mickey Mouse title. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I'm just throwing that out there.
Even though all the players said it was the hardest. It was the hardest ring.
Everyone except for Patrick Beverly. Pat Bev seems like he just don't like the title.
Pat Bev seems like he doesn't like a lot of
He doesn't like anybody.
As a Rockets fan, I know Pat Bev over to. Oh, look at the Grainmaker pod saying, "Oh, absolute
as a
hunk.
Celtics
I'm
fan,
with three other hunks today as well." Grainmaker.
Yeah,
there's a lot of hunks.
Fan, you mentioned the name Jimmy Butler, and I had flashbacks. So I was just like, wait a minute, that guy single-handedly I've watched kill my team.
I mean, McKellen wants to know which title design him as the best between TNA and AEW. Is this something that you guys have discussed? I feel like you guys
Cooley a hater.
Oh, that's right. I did hear the episode where you were like, AEW's belts don't look good, and I'm like,
I don't like it.
Wait a minute. That AEW world title is gorgeous.
Gorgeous. It's beautiful.
I love the heavyweight title. The rest of them I can the TNT, I could the heavyweight title, in my opinion, is a beautiful.
It's
a hype thing for me. I don't know in why. The chat, let us know where you are aligned with these title belts. What about that Crown Jewel Championship? How do we feel about that atrocity?
Yeah, it looks like AEW though.
What? No, it does not.
Yes, it do.
Come on.
Yes, it do.
That thing goes from nipples to knees.
Yeah, that would cover my whole body.
That thing's a corset.
I would be like, what?
That's not a
That's
title.
a skirt. It's a skirt with gold on it. That's not a title. That thing is huge, dude.
No, I mean, he mentioned it. How do you like? We've seen this type of stuff before with Survivor Series. They used to do the champions versus the champions and stuff like that. Obviously, I don't know. So this year it's Gunther versus as of right now. Gunther versus Cody, which that's going to stay. And then we have Liv and Nia, right? So let's just say, they fight. Let's say Gunther beats Cody. He wins that belt. And then a year from now, neither of them are champions. Two other guys are going to fight for that. Like, so Gunther doesn't keep that belt.
No. It stays on that PLE.
So
it's just there. I saw news about it earlier.
Then wouldn't defend it. Then he wouldn't even defend it next year.
Here's what here's
TV.
This is how I think this whole thing came to be. Ever since the Royal Rumble, when we had that Gunther and Cody moment where they finished and they start whatever that standoff, the fight was that they finished like 1-2 or something like that. I'm not great with my memory. I'm old. But they were like, we want Cody, we want Gunther, we got to make it happen. How do we make it happen? Oh, Crown Jewel's a throwaway PLE that nobody really cares about. Would you guys, and I bet you Trips was like, do you guys want a title? And then we can give you Gunther and Cody, and neither one of them have to look weak because it's for a nothing title. Because why would you do that? I don't understand it any other way.
This is my theory. This is the Quan conspiracy theory. I think the Saudi Arabians called Hunter and said, "Hey, we need our own title," and Hunter said, "Stat, I got you."
I got
now
you.
we have this giant gold ugly monstrosity that's only going to exist for this one show, and the next year we're probably not even going to have that title because we're going to forget about
The
it.
Saudi prince is like, I gave you $50 million.
Yeah.
Money move. That's all it is.
Hey, money talks.
Wrong comment. Question.
This is why you don't hit the buttons, Pluggo, but you're hitting
Yeah,
them tonight. You're hitting them tonight. You're hitting them tonight. I
Go
don't know
ahead.
what's going on. No, we'll keep this one up for now. He says the question is who gets to keep the crown jewel belt. The question is who the hell would want to keep that ugly ass belt.
Cody's like, no, you take it, Gunther. Gunther's like, please, I am the ring general. Gunther's probably going.
Well,
Gunther looks at Cody and goes, "You're wearing that ugly mask out to the ring. What's an ugly belt
on the crown?
I'm classic." Yeah, exactly.
He was like, "Get away from me, Hunter."
I don't want it.
Grainmaker wants to know: is that a Terminator 2 poster in the background?
It is.
Hell
It
yeah.
is. And I would like to say Terminator 2 is my favorite movie of
Hell
all
yeah.
time. I have it on DVD. I have it on VHS. I have
the VHS.
I have it on. Yes, bro. I love the movie.
One
It
of
was
the
way before its
true,
time.
one of the few, and one of the true sequels that is better than the first. One of the true.
Facts.
One
I
of
was
the
1
true.
years old when it came
I would
out,
say
so-
like that, Godfather 2, and there's probably
Mighty Ducks 2.
less. I love Mighty Ducks.
Mighty
That's a good one.
Ducks. Yeah.
That's a good one.
That's
dude.
my favorite movie
Hell
of all
yeah.
time.
Iceland, bro.
Joker
Iceland.
2.
Joker.
Oh,
No,
too?
I don't think people are saying that, dude. I don't think people are saying. I haven't seen it, so I can't judge.
Was it?
But
Was it?
people are
It was
not happy.
today's episode or yesterday's episode? You guys talked about it and said that it was going to
It's
go
been a
down.
couple episodes.
It was
It's been
a
a
couple
reoccurring
episodes.
Yeah,
conversation.
So you both have seen it?
Yeah.
I saw it on Monday. Yeah. Well, last
Are
Monday.
the reviews similar to the ones that I have read, which are not good?
I hate to break it to you, but yes.
And you
It-
both
it's-
enjoyed the
said,
first one?
yes.
You both enjoyed
Oh,
the
yes.
first one?
I love the first
I thought the first one was really good. I thought the first
I think
one
the first
I
one
haven't
was one
seen
of
it.
the greatest films. You haven't seen the first?
Oh,
I
the
haven't
first
seen a
one
lot
was
of
good.
things.
The first-
What
yeah, Pluggo
happens?
hasn't
So what
seen a lot
happens
of-
on this show when you guys start talking about things that I haven't seen? I'll just read.
He just pulls out a book and just starts reading.
You guys,
That's
you
how
just,
we know.
You just let me know when you
You're
need
talking
me.
like I don't want to throw him under the bus, and again, no judgment.
You can,
but, like,
you can.
Pluggo hasn't seen any of. Well, he's seen a few, but he hasn't seen many of the Star Wars movies. He hasn't seen any of the Harry Potter movies.
Lord of the Rings. you name
Lord
it.
of the Rings. Like Pluggo has not seen a lot of things.
Terminator 2. I don't think I've ever seen that either.
Yeah, what are we talking about?
No, he's
What are we talking about?
I'm not.
I am 39 years
I'm
old.
not.
He's like a year and a half younger than me, and the things that he tells me he hasn't seen, I'm like,
This is Pluggo. If
Wow.
you're still in the chat, can't confirm. She has a list of like movies.
I bet you guys got to start chipping shit off that list,
Oh,
bro.
wow.
What are we doing?
Wow.
Come on, stop
I'm like a creature of habit, right? Like I just watch what I watch. I don't start anything new before I go to bed because I'll have to stay up and watch it, and I have to keep going if it's a series. So I just kind of like stick to what I know, and every once in a while I'll throw some new in there. But generally speaking, I'm kind of I just watch what I watch.
We tried to run a gimmick where Pluggo watched a Star Wars movie, and he would review
I went
it on the
3,
show,
and
he made it to 3, and he was like, I
couldn't do it. I couldn't do it.
Wow.
And I was like, wow.
I
couldn't
couldn't
believe it.
Well, listen. In my defense, let's just say from somebody that's never seen Star Wars, we'll just go from that vantage point, which was me. Everybody had a different way to watch it. They're like, you got to watch these here and watch this here. You got to do it in this order. You got to make sure you get these and that. And it just, I was like, what? And none of it made sense to me.
For a person who never watched Star Wars, to start it from the ones that came out in the 70s is tough.
Mhm.
See, I started.
That's what
with
I
episode
did.
1.
You
Yeah,
went one.
that's
You
tough.
went 1 through 9. Is that what
Yeah.
you did? Yeah.
1
I
through
feel
9.
like that is probably the best way to go. Because like I watched the ones from the 70s in the 90s when I was a child, and they re-released them at some point in the 90s, early 2000s before they made episodes 1 through 3. So like I was able to see them a few times back then. I'm sure the first time I watched it, I was so young. I was like, I don't know anything that's going on here.
How
But
about
eventually,
this?
you know.
Hab guy, I don't know
Yeah.
if I will ever finish that story, but
Gotta
if we
finish
get,
the
let's
story.
say if we get $100 worth of super chats tonight, I'll finish the story.
Wow. All right,
Oh,
there you
there
go,
we go.
guys.
There we go.
go. That's
Get
how you
it.
do it.
Knowing that is not going to happen.
Yeah, that was a safe bet by him right there, guys. So how about we prove him wrong? Huh?
And then we got Shaw's War in the House, honk, 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 fellas.
Yeah.
He says, honk, your clandestine wrestling society champion who could cash that
what he
baby
is.
in at any time. Kyle Shaw.
Absolutely.
Canadian
All right.
dude.
I mean, I like this. I feel like we could talk. I mean, I know Pluggo. I don't want to leave you out with the movie banter.
I
But
watch
feel
some
like
movies.
I know.
Like I said, I watch movies.
Mighty
just
Ducks.
Mighty Ducks.
Pluggo thinks the Mighty
Hey,
Ducks
that's
trilogy
Mighty
is
Ducks.
the greatest trilogy ever.
Of all time.
It might be one of
It's
them.
up there. It's
I'm
up there.
Hey,
I am also a firm believer that Space Jam is a documentary.
Michael Jordan was talking to himself the whole movie. That's insane.
I think that's exactly what happened when he left when he left for baseball.
Yeah.
No, I'll throw the joke. I heard the joke. I've seen The Dark Knight. That's the last movie
There we
I've
go.
seen. In
No,
that.
that's a good last
That's a
movie.
good one. That's a good last one to
Yeah.
see. That's a good last one to
Pretty
see.
good. Yeah, I thought that was a good one.
I will forever laugh at the Bill Murray line in Space Jam when he's talking to Michael about being an NBA player. And he goes, well, you're white. It's because I'm white, right? And he goes, no, Larry's white. And he just goes, Larry's not white. Larry's clear. Shit. Larry's not white. Larry's clear. That was still. Obviously, I'm a Boston fan, but I would say probably once or twice a month, I go on a YouTube spree of just hearing other NBA players talk about how much shit Larry Bird talked when he played.
Yeah.
Because those stories are
They're
insane. The type of stuff he would say to the other players. And then, he would just, turn around to the Atlanta Hawks bench and be like, I'm going to hit a three from right here next time. And he would point at the ground. And then they'd go, he'd get the ball back and he'd catch it, hit the three and turn around and just be like, I told you. And he would
while wearing Converse.
Yeah.
While
Yeah.
hooping in Converse.
the night that he won his third straight 3-point, the one where he walked away before the shot went in with the one, he walked into the locker room and he just said, all right, who's finishing second? Incredible.
Okay, we got Hab guys saying, did you know that there's actually, I've never seen Never Ending Story either.
Oh yeah, that's a classic.
That's a
That's
classic.
a
Never
classic
seen
movie
that.
right
I know there's like a big dog. And then Sean wants to know if he can cash in his championship to fly me out to Edmonton to have him beat me up for never seeing Star Wars.
I'm telling you,
Listen.
it's very divisive. But
I'm in. I'm in on that.
Unbelievable.
Maybe that
All
should
right.
be the new gimmick on this show is every time we have a guest, they give me homework of a movie I have to watch. And maybe
There you go. Well, Terminator 2 should be the homework. That should be the
For
homework
sure.
because of the poster. That movie is incredible, dude. It's very, very good. All right.
So
I
did watch Bad Blood this weekend.
We did. And we're going to talk a little bit of Bad Blood right here.
How it was up and down and all around.
I
There
liked
was
it,
8
but
up and a lot of down.
yeah, to me, it was a one-match show. It was a one-match show, and that match was damn good.
Yeah.
Because this show opened with what I think was an instant, a classic Hell in a Cell match. CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, just fantastic all the way through. Beat the absolute crap out of each other. Drew McIntyre needed 16 staples in his head. He was pouring blood.
Did you see Ryback go full like he should be fired? He's on CM Punk is unsafe. I would have never done that to anybody.
Cool.
Hilarious.
Yeah.
Right.
But like it was one of those things where once he started bleeding, I was like, ooh. I was like, that's a lot. They're gonna have to
Ryback
they
is
don't have
the
to stop
only
this.
person I know that doesn't want to go. He's like, I'd never go back, but he never shuts up about it.
Yeah. Well, I mean, what else does he have, dude? What else does he have? What else can he talk about? Who's listening to him in general? Who's
But
listening to
just
him talk about anything else?
overall, what did you guys think of this? The Hell in the Cell, like I think there was some other good things that happened in this pay-per-view.
Yeah.
But this was like they started it first. It's
Mm-hmm.
people are talking about it's an all-timer Hell in the Cell match, probably one of the top 3 is what I can see consensus-wise. It did start the show, which I think took away from a lot of the other show. But what did you think just specifically Hell in the Cell? Where do you rank it? Where do you put it?
You know what? I might just be a victim of the moment, but for me,
It's up there, man.
that it could possibly be the best Hell in a Cell match I've ever seen. Now, obviously, I love The Undertaker and HBK, and even shouts out to Cody Rhodes and Seth Rollins for the banger they had a couple years ago. But Punk beat all the washed allegations. Nobody can ever claim that Punk is washed at this point.
Mhm.
That was an incredible match.
You underestimate the IWC, Quan. They definitely.
Oh, they're gonna find a way. They gonna find a way.
It's definitely top 5 for me. Top 5 because we can't take away what Undertaker done. He's had many of classics with Mankind, HBK, and I don't even want to mention that terrible cage match with Edge and Finn Balor a year or two ago.
Oh yeah.
That don't exist to me anymore. But
we were there. We were there live.
We were. It was terrible.
Finn only got 14 staples out of that match. He didn't do enough.
Yeah.
For nothing. For
No,
nothing.
really. Yeah.
14. Drew's like 14.
Yeah, man.
What is it? I've never seen a Hell in a Cell match live. What is it like? Like, is it easy to watch? Is it hard to watch?
Hard to watch. I had Charlotte and Sasha in Boston that year that they main evented. It's difficult to watch. It's fun, but it's hard to watch.
And I think this might have been the red cage when they were still in the red cage. So that was we kind of had to watch the screen to see it. And we had good seats, but it was just kind of hard to see. So we definitely had to watch the screen.
Yeah. I think what I appreciated about this match is they stayed inside the cage. Yeah. That's kind of become now I think Hell in a Cell matches will be more spread out because there's not a Hell in a Cell pay-per-view where we're going to get 2, 3, 4 of them or whatever. So I think they'll be more spread out and used for situations like this. I think it also helped that this was the perfect feud for it, the perfect 2 dudes for it. This was the story that should have ended in a Hell in a Cell. They've been feuding for the whole year at this point. I think that helped it too, but it was just, they didn't have to go outside the cage. They didn't have to do a table bump halfway off the cage. They didn't have to go to the top of the cage. They were like, we're 2 old school type of wrestlers. We're just going to beat the shit out of each other in this cage. We're going to use what we have in here in the cage and it's going to work. And it was brutal.
Amazing.
It was so good. It was so good. Both men were bloody. That missed Claymore into that gnarly back bump that Drew took on the steps. Every one of us was wincing. Everyone when he hit that. Yeah. That was gnarly looking. Even though I thought the bracelet got overplayed, I did like the beads.
I was gonna say that was corny for sure,
but I liked it. It fit. I was like, I get it. That's good. But man, I think like Plug. I went into the pay-per-view thinking that this should have main evented. Yeah, that was what I felt. This should have been the main event. But I do think Pluggo brought up a good point that the fact that this match opened and it then was such a great match, everything else that followed had to live up to that, and nothing was going to be able to live up to that.
Yeah, like nothing Nia and Bailey could have done, and I didn't think the Nia.
And I liked that match. I
thought it was fine. I just they could. There's nothing they could have done to the air was just out of the room, and it took a long time to get it back, and I don't think they quite did.
Yeah, I agree.
For Atlanta, you had one job to keep up with the international pay-per-views crowds, and you just didn't. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we got Dustin saying this match shows why the Hell in a Cell should be a rare occasion. It makes the match that much more special, makes people want to watch it, and makes the feud that much more important and impactful. Yeah, 100%.
The only How many fucking metros do you know?
Oh, hilarious. Did you see the outtake thing that they released today with Triple H?
Yeah, the bloopers.
They released a blooper reel today if you haven't seen it. Triple H is just he's struggling the whole time. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. It was very
Who's
good.
Metro again? Oh yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Oh man.
Yeah, man. I speaking of Hell in a Cells, I thought the New Day and the Usos had that when they did the tag team hells, that was a badass Hell in a Cell match. That was a good one. But yeah, no, this match it set the pace for the pay-per-view, and like you said, the rest of the pay-per-view I thought was pretty solid.
Yeah, it wasn't bad. It was
no,
you can't live up to that as the opener.
My God.
And this is why Cells always in Bad Blood events. Like, it's been 20 years since the last Bad Blood when Triple H defeated Shawn Michaels.
Yeah.
And we're in a Hunter era right now, so he decided to switch it up. And
blame The Rock. Blame The Rock.
And I'm going to say
all The Rock's fault.
Exactly. Well, like Roman and Cody are the draws in the company. I understand, but then when we see what we see at the end,
was that worth it? Like, that's all he just walked out.
I feel like that's a conversation we could probably dive into if we
would we have looked back on this pay-per-view more fondly if that was at the end, maybe? Because I didn't, like I said, I don't think the ladies did a bad job. The Rhea Liv match for me was okay. Rhea kind of did that to herself. Raquel botched the ending a little bit there, so you can have, but I didn't think that tag match with Roman and Cody was that. It wasn't anything special. It was predictable. So I don't know, but we got The Rock to walk out and go like this.
The Rock walks out and goes,
like,
"Hi guys."
Hi. Hey.
Yeah, and we talked about it a few times, but The Rock did put something on social media today that was basically like, "I'll see you guys." The last line was "See y'all down the road," which tells me that we're probably not seeing him for a little bit. So I think he literally just came back for that. And now
is he telling Roman like, "Hey man, we're not cool with Cody still. Like, don't go," because that's what it felt like to me. Like, hey, listen, like, yeah, you're the tribal chief or soul, whatever, but I'm still the final boss, and you're all out here dapping up Cody and helping him and defending him. Like, we're not about that. You did the business. Now we're done.
Right.
So are we going to get Rock and Roman? Is he mad at Roman? Is he mad at, like, I'm interested. I don't know.
I still think we're gonna get Cody in The Rock just because that they left that story open.
Yeah,
but I don't know, man. It was awkward. He came out, he did the throat cut thing, and then just walked away. I get why it went on last because that's The Rock. At the end of the day, like the tag team match was what it was, but you're not gonna open the show with that and have The Rock come out after match one. If you think it was hard to match the Hell in a Cell match, imagine how deflated that crowd is going to be after losing their goddamn minds to The Rock.
Exactly. And McKinnon in the chat says that. He goes, with the entrances and everything, you could have done that. That would have been a dope way with The Rock coming out to open the show. But then I do feel like until you get to the Hell in a Cell match, everything that happens after that, again, it's the same thing. It's the same exact thing. Nothing's going to live up. You just saw The Rock, dude. He's still The Rock. You know, Cooley? Like, it's just...
Still The Rock, but we got Jimmy. We got Jimmy too.
That was great. That was great.
That was a great moment.
I loved watching the vantage point though, like how Tama Tonga and Tongaloa didn't see him slide out.
Yeah,
they're all like, but he just.
You're like, who's this random crawling out of the? Oh, let's pay no attention to him. We got to focus
with
on
a bandana on his face.
Literally, I love how they sell that. I love how they sell it. We all know it's you. We all know
you've done that bit 4 times. Already to your brother. We've seen you do it over and over again. We know it's you.
Michael, it was him and was Jay and Raquel both just chilling under that ring for the whole show? Because if you watch the Hell in the Cell match, you did see him pull down the TV. You could see the TV.
Yeah, I saw the TV. Yep.
So you knew there was something going to happen, but she came out from under the ring too, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah.
She did.
So they were just like, so were they just playing cards or something? Like what they
playing Game Boy Advance? I don't know.
Rock, paper, scissors, you go. Like, how does that, like that for 3 hours? You're just listening to bumps getting taken under that. It's got to be taking a nap.
Early.
Yeah,
Hornswoggle famously said because that was his gimmick. He famously said on a podcast that sometimes he would take a nap and set like an alarm for a couple hours and put some, because he would just be under there for 3 hours. You have to get there early before everybody else gets there, get under there, get settled because you don't want to spoil the surprise. So he's like, I just hang out there and take a nap. And he goes, one time I missed my spot. He goes, Undertaker had to poke his head out and be like, get out here.
Yeah, you don't, of all people, you don't want the Undertaker being the guy that does that to you.
Yeah.
I don't think.
Not Taker back in the day.
No.
Not in his locker room.
I will say when it came to the Bayley and Nia match, I liked the match. I specifically liked, and I am very much liking what they're doing with the briefcase with Tiffany and Nia. They went a different way than I thought. I didn't know they were going to go with almost like kind of the abusive, like that's what Nia's becoming, is this like abusive, taking advantage of her friend. Like, hey, whatever. And I think I did not expect that to go that way. And for some reason, I was just like, no, Tiffy's going to be the heel who just cashes in on a friend. But they are doing it now that whenever they do it, they got a major baby face on their hands with Tiffy. Superstar baby face. And I think Nia is perfect for that role, to be that dominant, do what I say, or it's going to be bad for you, and lean into that. And you really get that sympathy. And I thought the spot where she runs down, she clocks Bayley, doesn't hand the ref the briefcase, but the ref had taken a bump. She's getting up. She sees it. She picks it up. Tiffany's going to grab the briefcase back, and then you get the Undertaker sit up by Nia. And it was just perfectly done. And it was just like, man, that's just good stuff. Just good
Cinema.
stuff. Yeah.
Cinema.
Yeah. And I thought that little end to the finish of the match with Bayley and Nia was good. The match was fine, but we've seen it. They have good chemistry. They have good matches. It wasn't anything that was like, what we haven't seen from them before. But I thought the Tiffany stuff and that little wrinkle in there kind of made it a more enjoyable thing. Yeah.
And this is the right move just because Tiffany Stratton is getting face reactions anyway. So you might as well play into it and turn her into a baby face.
100%.
It's going to make them a lot of money.
100%.
A lot.
How'd you guys feel about the Judgment Day stuff in both those, man? I know we touched on it briefly. Why
you both put your head down at the same time?
Well, I kind of looked up. We kind of all they looked down. I looked off in the distance. I was just kind of like, I expected them to split the matches, but I expected it to go the other way. I think it's time. And again, love Rhea. I like the story of the Terra Twins. I think it's time for at least Rhea and Liv to get away from each other.
Yes.
And I thought Rhea should have won I understand with the Raquel stuff and things like that. Cool. But I thought Rhea should have just won the belt from Liv, and they just went away for a little. I could have seen them continuing Finn and Damian because that was really their first match. And I actually expected Finn to win that match, not Damian. I expected that to go the other way. But yeah, what'd you guys think of just kind of those two matches and how we're clearly continuing full force with the Terra Twins and the Judgment Day?
So with the Terra Twins, the Liv and Rhea match, it wasn't that bad, but the Shark Cage and Dominic Mysterio, it took away from the match, especially when the door pops open on its own, just magically. Yeah. Like, was that the ghost of Chris Benoit? Like, what was that? And he falls out and he's just hanging up. They could have done without that, but the match itself was fine. I thought Damian Priest and Finn was really good.
I liked it.
You know, like you said, the opening match we started here, so it was hard to match that. So anything that came after that was never going to live up to that match.
So I am completely over Rhea and Liv. I'm over it. I wholeheartedly think that Rhea is perfect as a heel, and I wanted to see her to go back to that. And the twins definitely need to split. Rhea need to go her own route. I want to see her main event in WrestleMania with Bianca. She's one of the top dogs. I want to see them go at it.
It's coming. I promise you.
It's coming. It gotta come. And of course, Raquel is going to be a part of Judgment Day. Maybe she's going to just be a chauffeur or a butler. Who knows?
I think they could do
the driver.
While
the two teenagers making out in the back.
That would actually be funny. But I think there's kind of an intriguing. I think there's an intriguing story they could tell with her being she's the biggest person in the group.
Right.
From a physical standpoint, she's the biggest person in the group.
It's true.
So I feel like
Carlito's kind of jacked. Carlito's kind of jacked.
Yeah.
But it's Carlito.
Yeah. I think there's you could tell an intriguing story of like a female being the muscle of this group. I think that could be a fun thing if they did it the right way. I just feel like,
since nobody leads the Judgment Day, who decides if Rhea's in? Or Raquel. I'm sorry, Raquel is in. Who's making that decision?
I think we're eventually getting to the point where we're going to find out that
what's the protocol to get into the Judgment Day?
It's
when
not.
Damien was the leader, you had to put in work. He said,
right. But I don't think it's going to be imminent because he still gets major heat. But there is major money in a Dominic Mysterio babyface run.
Oh my god,
big time.
Yes,
it's the hair, it's the mullet. The mullet. It's unlocked the new version of Dominic Mysterio.
Yeah, and I think as we continue along here, we're eventually going to find that Liv and Finn are really and Dominic is a pawn. He's been a pawn in this whole thing. And then I don't know if that means that Rhea, Dom, and Liv, because I don't think Dom can. There's going to be a lot of. It's going to be a lot of. You're going to have to apologize and buy some flowers and buy a bunch of stuff. If you're
I was thinking about this today. Yeah.
But
if Rhea's out and then Liv eventually leaves him, who's next for Dom? The dude just keeps falling up in terms of that.
That's
I don't
true.
know, but
Rhea and then Liv. it's
Where do you
hard to
go?
top
Yeah,
that.
yeah, you can't. That's you're starting off hot. You're starting off hot.
It's the Hell in a Cell match.
There's only one way to go, brother. There's only one way to go. Dustin saying
He's just
shout
gonna
out
10 years from now be like, man, I was on
Yeah.
top of the world.
Dustin says, shout out to Dominic for giving me a mini heart attack when he fell out of the shark cage.
Oh
And that's fun.
man.
Yeah, dude. Me too.
That did not look like he was super confident in it either. I mean, granted, maybe he was acting and playing it off, but like when I was like, oh, what if that thing snaps? And then
Yeah,
he
that
just
was
got
scary.
busted up like a pinata from Rhea. Yeah, she cost herself the match.
Oh yeah, she had it won. That's
Yeah.
all on her. That's all on her, man.
She's like,
That's
I'll
all
be
on her.
back in a minute. And that ref, they caught it on camera. He's like, all right, whatever.
She got greedy. And
shout-
it came back to bite her.
Shout
What's
out to
up
Dom,
with that?
man, for that spot because
Oh my god, yeah.
because Hunter said he's afraid of heights. I'm
That
a person that's
was-
afraid of heights. I would never do that. I'm sorry, man. I couldn't do it.
There's not
And
an
they
amount of money that we could pay you to put you up in a shark cage.
Don't
Not
say
any
we don't have
amount.
money.
Not.
We don't have money.
Like
Absolutely.
millions.
We spent Spencer's money here. But we spent the
Yeah, that
boss's
is true.
money.
That is true. But yeah, no, when he fell out, I was like, oh god. And then obviously you saw that, and I was like, even as somebody who's not scared of heights, I would have been shitting bricks the whole time,
Yeah.
knowing, oh, in 5 minutes, I just gotta dive out of here, man. And hope,
Hope
for the
it
best.
works. Hope it
Hope
works.
for the best. That's what I gotta do. I would be losing my mind.
It worked out, thank God.
Yes, it did. And it was a really, really good spot. And look at she cost herself the match, but her hitting him with the kendo stick like he was a pinata. That is just gold. That's
That was
gold
funny.
right there.
That was funny.
And then we have the tag match, obviously, in the main event, which I thought the tag match
Before
was
you get there, ask him how they felt about that marching band.
Ah,
How'd you feel about both the special entrances? Because they
First
tried to one
off-
up each other.
First off,
ask him about the marching band. It's awesome.
I seen a clip on X of the lady when Roman was coming out, and the lady was fake playing her drum.
Oh,
I said,
no.
What is this?
exposed.
Terrible. It was terrible. We need to get rid of that. We want to actually hear the entrance music. We want to feel that emotion, but we got to stop with the bands, man.
It
But
just-
I get it. I understand why they did it. They're in Atlanta. It's a state that's that's heavily built around bands and their football.
Marching band, yeah.
I get it, but it just
See,
didn't
so
hit me.
it hurt me because I saw the clip that went viral with that marching band playing his theme
Yes.
song at a football game, and I thought that was super ill because it's like, yo, this high school marching band or college, whatever they are, just playing a wrestling theme song. That just shows you how popular wrestling is right now. So when I saw them on the show, I was excited.
Yeah.
And then they started playing, and that
Yeah.
excitement, it went from 10 to 0.
Yeah, man.
It just didn't hit right. It just didn't
No,
hit right. In
no.
No, it
the
was bad.
woes
And then
were
they-
off. It was.
And then they
it
did the thing where they played the entrance music, and then the band was playing at the same time that the actual entrance music was playing, and it was like, there's too much shit going on here, guys. There's too
Yeah.
much stuff going on here.
Uh,
It was,
Yeah, that was
Uh,
bad.
mm.
Poor Cody. Poor
I know.
Cody. Trevante Rhodes.
And then we had the tag match that happens. Cody and Roman win. Jimmy Uso comes back. The Rock shows up. But then after the show, we saw some fan camera footage of Cody and one Kevin Owens chatting in the back near the trucks. And KO, it was not talked about on Raw. The commentary team tried to talk about it. They squashed it. Cody was asked 2 separate times. He squashed it.
It's
They didn't talk about
eternal.
it on Raw. I'm sure we'll talk about it tomorrow night on
Yeah.
SmackDown.
We didn't air the footage on all our social media, so this is an internal matter.
Internal investigation. But we saw cam footage. KO turning on Cody Rhodes, just beat him down. And apparently, according to some reports, like Cody, some of that beatdown was like Cody was a little roughed up a little bit after that. Like KO leaned in. He leaned
Well,
in.
before that, if you remember the press conference, he was scheduled to be there, and then all Triple H said was, "I'm here. I'm out early because Cody couldn't make it." So at that point, I had no idea what had happened. And then after the press conference, I saw the clip, and I was like, "Oh, that's interesting." How do you guys feel? One, about the beatdown, and two, about them trying stuff like that where it's not a part of the show, but it's a part of the show.
Now that part of it, the fact that it's not a part of the show and it took place after the show and WWE is not really acknowledging it, I think that's super dope. And I think WWE needs to do more of that because it gives you the feeling of unpredictability. Like I just watched Raw. It was 2 hours. Thank God. Now the show is over, but now I have to go online because maybe the show continued off air. Maybe something else happened backstage that I need to be aware of so I can know what's going on. So that was great. And the beatdown looked real.
Yeah.
Very so.
Cooley, I'm going to let you go before I say my piece on that real quick.
Jeez.
Hey, I'm agreeing with my brother. It was great. First of all, I want to shout out to the WWE production team for keeping kayfabe alive, for saying they had no idea what this is. We never heard of it. Great. But we know that there was pranks in that crowd. We know it. You know. So
now,
I like it.
I liked it. I thought it was fantastic. I just would caution all of the internet wrestling community to keep the same energy when AEW does the same thing and everybody goes, well, you should put that on your television show. You shouldn't expect me to go to www.aew.com and try to find it through all these other channels. Put it on your show. That's all I'm saying.
Oh.
I loved it, but let's keep the same energy. That's all I'm saying, guys.
Yeah, you're definitely not wrong. Like, people get upset about, you want me to Google a wrestler? It's like, you Google everything else.
Yeah, literally. If you see something you don't know about, what do? You look it up. It's the same
Your
thing,
home
man.
screen is most likely Google.
Yeah,
So,
literally. The majority of ours is just type in the
I
wrestler's name and
Google
you can figure it out.
everything.
Yeah.
Ask.com.
You mean I have to do a little bit of research to figure out Tony Khan announced Britt Baker wasn't going to be there on TikTok? He should do that on Dynamite.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
I agree with all of you. I thought it was a new way to do something, and it was creative, and it was different, and I liked it. And then I kind of like how they're kind of treating it like this was like an actual attack at work, like an actual.
They're treating it like All In.
Bronson Reed is tsunamiing Braun Strowman in front of some innocent dude's car in the parking lot.
Yeah,
that's fine. But this
Bronson Reed threw a fan at Braun Strowman, and they were like, "That's awesome." Cody Rhodes and KO mixed it up backstage. We're not talking about that. No,
not talking.
People are dying in the NXT parking lot.
Yeah,
that's about right now. I
we
think
can't mention Kevin Owens.
That is the most dangerous.
We can't get to the bottom of this. You guys have been telling us for weeks that there's some beef going on there.
Yeah,
it finally boils over, and we're like,
yeah.
What are you
I think the last
about?
time somebody got jumped in the NXT parking lot, I put a tweet out there, and I was like, right now, I think the NXT parking lot has to be the favorite to win the Rumble. Just undefeated.
Man,
didn't the Rock absolutely dog walk Cody Rhodes in a parking lot last year? Absolutely just destroyed.
It was raining.
Him.
That was one of the best endings to Raw of all time.
Mama Rhodes.
Yeah, Mama Rhodes. And then he dropped. They bleeped it out. In January they won't on Netflix, but he said, "And you."
Hey Dusty, I love you, but I can't stand your son.
Can't stand your son. That's when The Rock dropped the line where he said, "You don't fuck with the final boss." That's what he said right on Raw, and I was like, "What a time! We are in such a different time.
We are here."
It was incredible. It was incredible.
But you know, The Rock's like, "I'm not coming back and being on this board and doing things on TV if we can't have some kind of
The Rock's like, I'm
attitude era."
Doing what I want.
I'm not doing this PG bullshit. I'm The Rock, damn it.
Gotta let it rock.
Yeah,
I can't wait for the Mania build just to have The Rock back.
Yeah, it was one of those things. Like, he came back, and then once he became that heel character, when the Cody thing didn't go the way they thought it was going to go, and they recovered masterfully, they really did. But once he became the final boss, it was like I felt like I was watching the shows as a 38-year-old, and I'm like, I feel like I'm 13 again because he is unreal right now. The stuff he was saying when he was in like Utah, and he was like, "Now go smoke some crack," and then he just I was like, "This is incredible!"
Meth head
oh my god,
crackhead Karens or whatever.
Yeah,
I just kept thinking about the rest of the roster. Who's like, what do you mean? I can't even say I can't say things like that. I'll get fired.
No, he was yelling at a fan, and he said, "Hey, shut your mouth, or I'll come out there and wipe." And he said, "If some sort of STD, I'll slap that off your lips."
But you know, if Braun Breaker does that, they're like, "Braun, we gotta have a discussion."
Yeah, Braun,
you're back.
Fine, you're fine.
It's fine, 10K. You're not The Rock, bud. That's exclusively for The Rock and no one else.
Right. Meanwhile, Brad Maddox is fired for calling someone a prick.
Yeah,
The Rock can say whatever he wants to say.
unbelievable.
That's right.
It's
That's
unbelievable.
right.
One thing I actually saw something. So obviously, I'm not going to dive into NXT too much, but they had that Javon Evans Randy Orton match. I want to talk about this in two ways because I actually thought the match, obviously, the ending.
Yeah.
The match was what a spot for that kid, right? 20 years old, 21, like that is.
He should have RKO'd him at the end. Evan
Randy
should have RKO'd Randy.
Randy could have easily said no. Like, you know what I mean? Like Randy could have been like, no, I'm good. I'm not going to wrestle. Yeah, but he, and one of the things was I thought they had a good match. Obviously, they were going for that crazy RKO and it got botched a little bit. But Randy, being the pro he is, picked him up, boom, match is over. The thing that I wanted to say is after the match, this clip has been surfacing online. You can clearly see Javon Evans when Randy's lifting him up. He's saying, I'm sorry. And Randy just goes, hey, man, he goes, it's okay. It's okay. And he lifts his arm. And I immediately was like, remember like 15 years ago when Kofi fucked up? And Randy was like, stupid. And like, but I viewed it in a good way. Like, obviously, he's 15 years older. He's married with kids. And you can tell. But I viewed that and I was like, when you look at Randy Orton, and I'm like, just think about like the growth from that, what we saw, to how he knew the kid messed up. He knows he's a kid. He knows this kid's got a great future. He's like, dude, it's good. We finished. We're good.
What do you think Kofi thought in that moment?
But
hell no.
You go, this mother. What the hell?
Fuck. Called Randy. What the hell?
Dude, you owe me an apology, sir.
They didn't use me on the show for a year after that, Randy. What the hell? No, I'm just kidding. But
I'm sure Kofi appreciated it.
Yeah. No, I thought that was good.
I like the fact that they botched it just so we can see that moment because that shows the growth that Randy Orton has been through. We've seen him lose his mind after someone F's up, and now we're seeing him pay it forward. And
I just thought that was
hold a guy's hand.
Yeah, I just thought that was
wrestling's not perfect. I like the attempt at the end. I'm not gonna lose my mind over it. He went for something. It did look clean. They were able to figure it out. Like it happens.
And now because we didn't get that moment, maybe somewhere down the line in a few years when Randy's still going and Javon is maybe on a main roster or they cross paths again, we can actually see it. Because that, if they would have done it, we all knew it was happening. We're like, they're going to be craziest RKO of all time. If they would have hit that properly, that would have been right up there in the upper echelon of like the best RKOs ever. So now we get to see it happen in the future, hopefully, when they kind of cross paths again somewhere.
It's okay in wrestling, guys, when botches happen for the internet. It's okay. Wrestling's supposed to be not every. I don't know if you three have ever been into a fight, but it's not pretty.
Not at all.
It never goes the way I intended them to go. Whenever I've had to mix it up once or twice in my time. It don't look good, so it's okay. It's okay.
Botches happen. LA Knight botches every week.
The shots at LA Knight for no reason.
What did you say about LA Stone Cold versus Stone Cold?
Oh, The Rock versus The Rock.
The Rock versus The Rock. Oh my God. What do you got against LA Knight? What's going on?
We love LA Knight. He's just hilarious.
We love LA Knight, but he wrestles like Rene Dupree. He wrestles like Sylvain Grenier. Yeah. And I love those guys. But it's a very old school 1997 approach to ring work.
Yeah, it's true. That would be Rock versus Rock. Oh, that's good. So I thought that stuff was really good. And I thought overall, like I said, Bad Blood was solid, but you just weren't going to be able to top that first match. It just wasn't gonna reach where it went. How'd you guys feel? I know you said you were pumped that Raw was 2 hours. So what? Raw ends at dinner time for you guys.
Yeah,
like dinner time, kind of now with the 2 hours, basically.
So here, Raw comes in at 5 and it ends at 7 p.m. So I still got time to play video games and just relax.
You can still have a night. Raw used to end at like 11:05, and I'd be like, all right, well, I have about 40 minutes before I need to, wake up.
I'd be like,
but it's I don't want to get used to it because it's gonna be short lived. Because in January we're going right back to 3 hours, and apparently SmackDown might be 3 hours too. So
SmackDown because they lost Raw, they're giving SmackDown a third hour starting the beginning of the year, and We've seen the issues that SmackDown currently has with like not a lot of story unless it's the bloodline. I don't know what you're going to do with the third hour, so I'm hoping the rosters they'll just end the split and just because how are you going to fill that time? More Solo Sikoa?
It's going to be all women.
More women for sure. Right. That would be great, but they've not shown that they're willing to do that.
Yeah, look, for the 2-hour Raw, I thought it was a fine episode of Raw. But I didn't think it was the greatest. What made me worried was that the only women's match was a 10-woman. It just very much felt to me that are we going backwards to where it's like we got to get the women on the show, just all throw them in the same match together because that's what it felt like to me. And I understand how they tied it together. These people attack these people. Like I get it, but to me, watching the first 2-hour Raw in 13 years, and I was like, okay, we've been so used to 3 hours. How we doing? And to see the women just kind of be like, let's just do a 10-person tag for 5-6 minutes with a commercial break in the middle of it.
Right.
Jeez. And I'm just like, this better not be. Obviously, things are going to have to get cut going from a 3-hour show to a 2-hour show. That should not be on the list of things to be cut, the time for the women. And again, it's 1 week. I'm giving them the benefit of the doubt. They've been writing a 3-hour show for the last 15 years. I'm going to give them a little bit of a buffer. But you write a 2-hour show every Friday for SmackDown. You should kind of have a formula.
Tripp said he was worried about it going to 2 hours because he wasn't sure what that would look like. He said some other things at that press conference too, but
that was my only thing that I was watching. I was like, ooh.
Yeah, I didn't like that either. They got to be consistent with the women because a couple weeks ago we got Bianca and Io just having a banger.
Dude, that was so good.
Yeah, that was
yeah.
And now we got this random greatest hits on one side versus the pure fusion collect. No.
And then we got to go to NXT to look at some real bangers,
Yeah. NXT does the women right. They do the women right.
That women's division is cooking. It is even they've done a masterful job of mixing top end talent that is experienced and seasoned while still bringing up some of these younger, like Kalani Jordan's killing it, Sol Ruka, and then you've got Julia, you got Stephanie Victoria, you got Roxanne. It's like a perfect blend, and they seamlessly put it throughout the show. Raw, it's just like, here you go, boop, and we're done. And and that's a complaint that everybody has with AEW is they plop them in that middle and they just do it and they're done. And it's hopefully he can figure it out. Hopefully this was just the whoops, we screwed up here. We had too much going. I don't know. I'll give him the benefit of the doubt, but it wasn't a good starting point this week.
I think it's Rhea's booking. I'm gonna blame Rhea's booking on this.
Yeah,
she's too caught up with the Terra Twins. She need to go on her own, man. And we got to get this women's division back, running.
Well, how do you guys feel overall? Because there is that discourse going on with look at the main women's title feuds. Bailey and Nia is not much, and then Rhea and Liv is more about Dominic than it is about the women. Are you guys vibing with that, or do you guys think this is great? I thought the Rhea and Liv stuff was pretty good, but it isn't, it isn't Becky and Charlotte, Hell in the Cells, or Sasha and Charlotte. This isn't Four Horsewomen stuff anymore.
So the Rhea and Liv stuff, it was good until it wasn't. Triple H has this tendency to stretch things a little further than they need to be stretched. So right now it's kind of going on long and they need to wrap it up. But when it was fun, it was still fun. The love triangle was, even though we all took shots at it and laughed about it online, we were all kind of intrigued at least one point.
For sure.
That place popped. We were there at SummerSlam. That place popped when he gets to relive, and we're like, "Oh shit, this is about to go down." Dom's gonna die. It was a wild scene, but you're right.
Yeah. I wonder if, and I hope I'm trying to think because obviously it feels like we got Crown Jewel coming at the beginning, technically the beginning of November. Then you got Survivor Series, War Games. Bloodline versus Bloodline seems to be the SmackDown representative that will probably happen. And I wonder about what they're going to do as either the female or the Raw side of things. What I would like them to do is I think it would be cool if again, Rhea and Damian would have to find friends because I think Jey Uso, who is their friend, would be messing around on the other side of things at this point. But I think it could be really cool if although I don't know how you would do it with the advantages maybe, but if they could do intergender it, like throw Liv and Rhea in so it's Judgment Day versus Terra Twins and Friends or whatever, how they figure that out.
They haven't found no friends. It's just the two of them getting beat down by it.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of how you do it. Like, because if you have the ladies start, then the next person's going to be like, I don't know how you do it, because I know, even though Rhea, I could watch Rhea wrestle a guy and believe it immediately.
Yeah,
so that wouldn't be a shock to me, but I don't know how you would do it on like that aspect of it, because like they do sometimes have like the women and men get like Rhea body slammed somebody, Lash Legend body slam Luke Gallows, and like they do stuff like that, but I don't know if they would do that in like that type of match. But I do think that would be kind of cool if we saw like something different, like it's all of them, it's the girls and it's Liv and Rhea and it's the dudes, like that's what we're doing. I thought that would be cool. I do wonder if maybe the 10 women we saw on Monday, if they want to stretch that out, that's like a women's chamber. You do the pure, and that's 5-on-5. It's all built in. They've been feuding with each other and doing their nonsense with it. I think that could be an option as well.
Sure, it'd be good.
Speaking of, WWE just tweeted 20 minutes ago, tomorrow night on SmackDown, Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair are defending the women's tag titles against Lash Legend and Jakara Jackson. That's very cool that they're putting them up on SmackDown for the night for that. That's very cool.
Yeah, but unfortunately, this is a taped episode.
Oh, is it? It was already taped.
Oh, yeah. I couldn't help myself. I saw the spoilers. Obviously, I won't spoil anything for anyone, but yeah, this was a taped.
Do I gotta boot him? Do I gotta boot him out? Don't. Gotta hit the eject button.
Eject Osito, cuz.
I didn't even know it was taped. They sprung that. I didn't know.
Why'd they tape it?
I think WWE is on tour in the UK.
That makes sense.
Like next week.
Yeah, they do that around this time. Yep. Okay. Interesting. It's still a cool little moment for Lash and Jakara Jackson to get like a little bit of a. I would like to see, and I think they were teasing it. They had Bianca and Jade down at NXT on Tuesday. I'd like to see them go through each brand and defend those titles and really build this. I would like to see them build that women's tag division up through Jade and Bianca being dominant.
Right.
Putting on bangers and showing because they've got enough women's tag teams to do it. So that's what I would want. But hey, we'll see that tomorrow. But Quan already knows what happens. So if you really want to know,
sorry guys,
slide into his DMs. Maybe he'll spoil it for you for a couple bucks. If you got it, don't give it away. Don't give it away for free. That's for sure. Except for us. Except to us after the show.
After the show. We'll figure that out after. All right. So this Saturday night, on the other side of things, AEW has their pay-per-view from the Tacoma Dome in Tacoma, Washington. It is WrestleDream. We have a 10-match card here. I've gotten so used to the 5-match cards on WWE that I'm like, I watch AEW. It's always a big card, but like I'm just so used to. And it started at 6.
I'll spoil this.
That pay-per-view ended at 9:30.
It was wonderful.
Our time, and I was like, "What? Who did I please? Like, what is this?"
I'll spoil a little bit here early. There's some of these matches we're not going to talk too long about.
No, some
of these matches, I'm just like,
Look, I
we're going to talk about Hologram, though. I know you guys are excited about
Hologram,
yeah.
Spider-Man.
There is a pre-show match. It is Atlantis Jr., who is the Ring of Honor World Television Champion. He is defending against Brian Cage. I believe Atlantis Jr. is from CMLL. I believe mainly does some stuff with MLW too, I think. I don't know much about him. I'm not gonna, give some big, I think this man. I don't know much about him. I look at this and I go, yeah, Brian Cage. That's probably gonna win. That's get that title back kind of over in North America on Ring of Honor. And that's kind of how I feel that.
You've already said too much.
I know. I know. But let's not beat around the bush. Main card. Let's talk Hologram to start it. All right. Hologram is in a 2 out of 3 falls match against a guy that I've been very impressed with. He hasn't won anything, but the matches he is in, he dominates. He beat the shit out of Ricochet. And that match with Ricochet, that match was like 20 minutes long, and I think Ricochet had about 3.5 minutes of offense in that match. Like Beast Mortos was beating him from pillar to post. But yeah, Hologram, Beast Mortos, 2 out of 3 falls. Hologram coming in undefeated, 15-0. First time on Dynamite on Tuesday night. His first time ever on Dynamite. Is this his first pay-per-view match as well? Did he have one last? I think it's his first pay-per-view match as well.
First one.
They're obviously treating him like he is someone they are invested in, as they should. He's quite excellent. This match should be wild, guys, huh?
Like, it's 2 out of 3 falls. This is probably going to be one of the matches of the night. I make fun of the hologram thing just because it was fun, because that match on Wednesday or Tuesday actually was not the greatest. But this match is going to be fire. In Mortos, we've seen Mortos live in Prestige a couple times. He's a beast.
The way he moves to be that big, bro.
Yeah,
and with that headgear. He is a fan. He's a fan favorite of my co-host Blair on the weekends for Exposure. Every time he's wrestling the Indies, he makes sure we talk about it. Was that match? I didn't see the match. I got to be honest. I didn't see much of Title Tuesday. I've only seen the important stuff. Was it more because Commander likes to do too much, or was it more because he does? Commander, when you watch a Commander match, you're like super impressed, but then you're like, bro, you're going a little too far. Like, reel it in a little bit. It's too much.
He does the whole walk in the rope thing over and over. It's like, okay, we get it. It's fun, but we get it.
But I gotta take Hologram to keep his streak alive, right? He's undefeated. So,
but Mortal has to win something at some point. He can't just lose every single match because he's really good.
This could be the moment. This could be the moment.
I mean, that's how I feel about it, because I have been nothing but impressed every time I've seen Beast Mortos. But at the end of all these matches, he's losing every single one of these matches, and I expect him to lose this one as well, because I think the Hologram undefeated streak is going to continue and go for a little bit here. But yeah, they're going to be doing that lucha style. This match is going to be
Hologram is going to retire.
Be one of the best ones.
Yeah, it should be. It should be easily one of the best matches of the night.
He's 65-0. Danielson's holding on for dear life. It's like, somebody beat me, and Hologram's like,
I got you,
I'm here. I got you.
Well,
enjoy Birdie and Buddy. I am.
Hologram. We have a singles match, which I'm actually looking forward to. It was just put together this week. We saw Jay White return a couple weeks ago. The Switchblade is back, and he came out going after Hangman Adam Page. And we have a one-on-one match, Hangman Adam Page versus Jay White. I'm torn about this one a little bit because I feel like neither of these guys should lose.
Right.
But so if I had to pick one, I'm probably leaning with Hangman, just because just had the feud of the year and a half with Swerve, the cage match, beat him. He's on a hot streak. He's, he's my favorite guy in AEW, Hangman. I love everything about him. But I feel like Jay White needs to win this match more than Hangman does, because he just came back. Are you going to have him just come back? He cut a promo on Tuesday talking about how he wants to go for the AEW World Heavyweight title. Okay, then on Saturday, you're going to have him lose? Like, it's like, I don't know. I feel like neither guy should. Cooley, what are you thinking?
So Heyman Page is he's on a high right now, man. He's doing this thing. I can't see him lose. I could see Jay White being on his Giovanni Vinci type thing. He comes back,
just roll
he
up.
lose. He lose instantly. Everybody is shocked.
Roll up,
and it causes havoc. So I just can't see Hangman, losing. And then plus we see that Swerve is going to be on the card too.
Yes.
And maybe he interrupts something, or that's probably the only reason he loses or something like that.
My original thought process was, I want to see Swerve and Hangman fight forever. I don't ever want to see
forever.
Well, like that.
You don't want to see them team up like Cody and Roman?
Nope, don't need it ever. If it happens, no. I will write a letter. But my thought process was, well, maybe Swerve just still fucks with Hangman and Jay White wins, and then we get to continue along. And we can talk about this next, because this is something on the show that is booked, that is not a match. Swerve is there to handle business.
He's got,
as he said,
he's got lots
and that
of business.
That business is with one MVP and Shelton Benjamin. I'll ask you guys, Are we seeing Bobby Lashley on Saturday making his
We are
debut?
100% seeing Bobby Lashley. There is no doubt in my mind we're not seeing Bobby.
Yeah.
He's there. He's there.
Yeah.
Book it. Bobby
Yeah.
versus Swerve.
Yeah.
What is it? The Hurt Intricate or what is it?
Syndicate.
Hurt
Syndicate. The Hurt Syndicate.
Hurt
I would-
Syndicate. Okay.
Yeah. And then I think
Swerve could handle his business with Hangman and the Hurt Syndicate. He
could.
He could
Maybe.
do
Or he
both.
can join the Hurt Syndicate and they can just all handle business on Hangman Page.
What do you do with Prince Nana though?
Prince Nana can go manage.
What?
Hey, he needs something.
Nah.
No, you can't break up Prince Nana.
Yeah, not Prince. Nah,
There's no way. There's no way.
Well, I think how this goes down is
Or those Swerve could convince Prince Nana to join up with these guys,
Could.
and then he slowly
what
phases them out.
I
Or he's
kind of
always-
see this happening.
He's on the fence
is-
about it.
Yeah, MVP and Shelton are in the ring with Swerve and Nana. They're trying to recruit Swerve, saying Nana's trash. Swerve tells them to go screw. Things get a little heated, and Bobby Lashley comes out of nowhere and beats the shit out of Swerve. That's kind of how I would kind of do it. And then you have Swerve versus them. I also think down the line, I could see a Powerhouse Hobbs joining the Hurt Syndicate as kind of like the young gun they have, because Bobby Lashley, Shelton Benjamin, and MVP. I almost called him by his full name. MVP are obviously a little bit up there in age. So if you got a young gun that's really, I think Powerhouse Hobbs would be a great. I think Swerve, if they did that route of Swerve joining too, I think that would be an incredible story too. I think there's probably now Swerve running through them is probably. Yeah. But I think that'll be fun. It'll be good to see Bobby Lashley. First of all, the pop that Shelton Benjamin got,
man.
Yeah.
so deserved.
Yes.
So deserved. That was a massive pop when they showed him backstage a couple weeks ago. And I was like, good for that guy. All right. We got Darby Allin. He had an open challenge.
Real quick, because we're talking Bobby Lashley.
Yes.
Who's the first guy that Bobby squashes? He's squashing somebody. Who's getting the first crack?
Commander.
Because I feel like they're gonna push Bobby Lashley to just be TNA absolute killer Bobby Lashley, and he's got to squash somebody. Poor John Silver or Alex Reynolds.
Yeah, it's gonna be someone like that. Unfortunately, one of the top flight guys.
One of the top flight, Dante Martin.
Yeah, Dante Martin. You can just toss him.
Don't do that to my guy Dante. I
love the top. I like the top flight guys, but yeah, it's gonna be someone.
All right.
So we have Darby Allin.
Commanders getting
originally
wrecked.
This guy here originally was supposed to have a championship match with Bryan Danielson at some point. Moxley
took it, just took it from him. Like the man that he is, he took it.
Darby Allin looks like a friggin' idiot. Does he not?
He does.
All he had to say was, you know what, John, you have it's a great case you're telling me. I'm good. I think I'm going to keep I'll wait for it. I'll wait till he comes back. My thing was, if you're going to do, and we've talked about it for weeks now, but like, if you were going to do that angle because Moxley says the champion is no longer incapacitated was the word he used. So your match is not happening. So you're fighting me for that. And then an hour later, Bryan Danielson is fighting Nigel McGuinness. Well, no. Because Darby Allin should have been back there screaming at somebody. Well, wait a minute. The only reason I said yes to this is because he told me that Bryan wasn't there. If Bryan's there, I want my match. What the hell are we talking about here?
John didn't really have to do that much convincing either.
No, and I get it. Underdog babyface. Yeah, I'll fight anybody. But now he looks like an idiot because he's got. Don't get me wrong. Darby Allin and Brody King gonna be great. Two matches they've had before. Remember when Brody choked him over the ropes and shit, and he just dropped it?
Yep.
Their matches are great. Like, it's gonna be good, but this is really, like, in the scheme of it, a nothing match now. Like, and he could have been coming in here as champion or fighting the champion, and it's like, I don't know. But the match will be fun.
Tony Khan.
It's weird.
Tony Khan.
This to me is one of those things where Darby's from Washington. Somebody from Washington needs to win a match on this show. God bless. Darby's the guy.
Oh,
he beats Brody.
Does that mean you think?
Well,
Bryan is from Washington, I believe, too.
He is. We're going to talk about. I have a theory. About what's going to happen there. So technically, that might have been.
So we call it tease the business. You got to wait.
Yeah. Teaser.
Yeah, I do. Are we all in agreement though that we think Darby's taking care of business here.
100.
Eventually. Yeah, that's what I thought. I'll tell you what, though, we have an AEW TNT. Actually, no, you said you were a Ring of Honor guy, right, Quan? When you were,
I was.
You don't watch it regularly now, obviously, because I know a lot of people very divisive.
Whenever I can, I'll tune in. But I'm more of a 2007 Tyler Black Ring of Honor.
Okay. Well, we have 2 Ring of Honor championship matches on this show. We talked about the one that's on the pre-show, but then we have Mark Briscoe defending the Ring of Honor World Heavyweight Championship against Chris Jericho. I actually have liked this build for this match here. I had no problem with Jericho using Jay. That was the first time they used Jay that way, and they kind of used him as in an angle. But what I've loved more is the second he mentioned Jay, we have seen a complete change in Mark Briscoe. He ain't joking around. There was no word of the week this week. It's like nothing. Like, you mentioned my brother, you mentioned him that way. Now you got serious Mark, and like that was it. This is another one that this match should be fine. It should be good. But I
should be on
Jericho
your Ring of Honor
title again. Is that what's we already ran this dance with Jericho as the Ring of Honor title a few years ago. Are we doing it again?
We can't. We can't. After he mentioned his brother, there's no way Mark can lose. He has.
This is where I'm at. This is where I'm at mentally. Yes.
Yeah, he got to get that title off Chris Jericho, because that's
Mark. I think Mark. He's already champion, right?
Mark's coming in and defending. Mark is defending.
Mark can't lose this match. To be honest, Mark is probably one of my favorite wrestlers of all time. Like Mark and Jay Briscoe, they were my favorite tag team of all time. We actually had a list episode where we did our top 10 tag teams of all time. Nice. And when I mentioned the Briscoe brothers at like number 5, everyone was shocked, but they were killing it back in the day.
Dude, they were unbelievable. I got to witness the 2 out of 3 falls with FTR that pay-per-view. That was in Boston. Unbelievable. Best tag match I've ever been live for, ever, easily. I agree. Austin, all caps for Austin. All caps.
Austin Shepherd of the Kicking Out podcast.
That is true.
They must be done with their predictions because they decided to counter program us today.
Yeah, I thought we were friends.
Shout out to our boys. It's all good. We love
Shep. I thought we were friends. I wanted to run a gag, and I just wanted to do like co-tweet it and just like, what the fuck is this? Like try to start something on the internet. But
they're good people.
Yeah. But I think my mind is right where you are. Like, I'm like, once you mention Jay like that, if Mark was then to lose, no.
But this is the match. If you were going to put confidence points on it, that Jericho Vortex, it's there was we did a preview show with some other with Kimmy and Mike from Indeed yesterday, just exclusively WrestleDream stuff. And they were talking that TV deal they're trying to get and how Jericho's so I'm just worried. Right. It is all love, Shep. We love Shep. Yeah. Even though Shep to this day thought that my birth name was Pluggo. He didn't realize that. It's not my real name. But yeah, so is that TV deal? Does that worry you? Does that make you think like,
you know what? That's a good point. You might have convinced me to think this match is going otherwise now.
Because
I didn't even think about it like that.
Because when you think about it, right, 5 years ago when AEW started, how did they sell AEW to TV? Oh, Chris Jericho is going to be our first champion. That's a name everybody knows. That's a name that you can have.
You better credit Kimmy Sokol for that. She will feud with us for years.
Kimmy was the one who said it. She's correct.
Great
it's facts. It's facts. Like they built they got the original TV deal based off the fact that they could sell. Well, this is Chris Jericho. You've seen him at WrestleMania. You've seen him in WWE and all this. He's a name that everybody knows because of all these things. Yeah. If they are trying to get a TV deal for Ring of Honor,
they should just book it better. Just throwing it out there.
There's that.
Yeah, there is that. There is that.
Or maybe showcase Athena on Dynamite and then lead people over to Ring of Honor.
We talked about this last night because Kimmy, who gave that great fact that we just talked about, she covers Ring of Honor. She writes reviews and does a podcast about Ring of Honor. And she was like, every Ring of Honor champion has been focused on AEW television when they win the Ring of Honor belts, except Athena. And then I chimed in and I was like, and she's been the best champion in the company for 2 years. She's the best one. And she's the only one. She was on one Battle of the Belts. That's the only time she's been on AEW. And it's like, she's the best champion in the company. She has been the best story with Billy, and they got the best stuff going on with her, but she's like the only exclusive Ring of Honor champion. And it's like, man, more people in the world need to be watching Athena regularly. Like, she's incredible.
Incredible.
And it's wild. It's wild. So we'll move on to another championship match. This is a guy that I've enjoyed his work lately. This is a TNT championship match. The Scapegoat, Jack Perry, defending against Katsuyori Shibata. I've always been a fan of Jack Perry, but I think this is the best Jack Perry
by far
we're seeing. I think his match against Danielson at All Out did not get as much praise as it should have. I thought that match was excellent. Obviously the stuff that happened at the end, we'll talk about a little later when we get to the main event, but this should be really good. I think this is a match that could also steal the show because Shibata is no slouch at all. But I'll let you guys lead. You think, Jack Perry retaining here?
Perry is definitely retaining. He has it all. He has the full package. I love what he's been doing since coming back on TV. And now that he's the Scapegoat, he got the title. He actually made the belt himself too. I didn't know that until I seen the video.
Yeah, that was dope. Yeah, dope.
I would have burnt the shit out of my hand. He was precise.
Sure.
My wife would have been like, "Don't you even dare!"
Right.
You're gonna end up burning you and the house down. But good on him. The belt's dope.
Yeah, man, that's dope, man. So I like what he's doing. I definitely, want him to retain for sure.
And at some point, I hated Jack Perry when he was Jungle Boy and they had the Jungle Express. I was not a fan, but this Scapegoat run has made me doing a 180 on Jack Perry. He is probably one of the hottest youngins in the game right now.
Yep. And we got Shep coming in saying Shibata is not the right guy to take the belt off Jack Perry. That is correct, because the right guy just announced on Tuesday that he re-signed with the company, and it's going to be Daniel Garcia who takes that belt off of Jack Perry at some point, probably. Although McKinnon is coming in saying that Tony said that Athena has wanted to keep it that way, apparently, to keep the belt. So if that is true, which if Tony's, then I'm,
then we're sorry.
But Tony, then you should follow suit and be like, oh, if Athena believes so highly in keeping ROH titles on ROH TV, maybe you should do that with the other ones. Just a thought. Just a thought.
Right.
It's kind of weird to pay $10 a month that I could see all the stuff on Dynamite.
Right.
I got Jack Perry too. I mean, I like Shibata a lot. The only way I could see Jack Perry losing if there was some kind of shenanigans that went down, but I just don't see a clear path for that at this moment. So keep it going. Let's see how far you can ride the Scapegoat. It's one of the better stories that they've done and one of the better rebuilds that they've done. A long time.
100%.
But can we show some love to Shibata though? Because at one point it looked like his career was over.
Austin said, "Preach it, Quan."
Hey, I'm trying. Preach is what I do. But yeah, Shibata. It looked like Shibata's career was over at one point. But the fact that he's still doing it at a high level after that career-ending injury, hats off to Shibata.
No, for sure,
100%. We're all lucky that we get to watch this guy still wrestle at the level that he does, because that injury that would have ended the careers of a lot, and it ended his for a while. But yeah, so we have this next match hasn't officially been announced yet. It will be announced tomorrow night on Rampage, but it is a tag team match, and it is the Acclaimed going against the MXM.
You can't announce it then.
Wait,
you can't talk about it if it hasn't happened.
No, we can. We got yelled at last night when we brought this podcast by Kimmy. She yelled at us.
I had to restart the whole show.
But this is my show now. This is our show. We're doing it our way. So, yes, we're going to talk about it.
Yes, the male models. I love it.
The male models.
This is a match that I feel like the male models should win, but I feel like the Acclaimed will. So that's kind of where I'm at. But I feel like,
why is this happening? I don't remember. Did I miss? Whatever. I like both teams. I just don't remember them mixing it up ever.
I don't either.
Okay. I'm not alone here.
No,
I thought
we're not insane.
did I
We're
fall
not
asleep
insane
early one Wednesday or Saturday or something?
No, I don't think so. Like my thing is, you could do a big moment. This is MXM's like first pay-per-view match against former tag team champions. Like them getting a win. Like if the Acclaimed were to win this match, what the hell does that do for the Acclaimed at all?
Right.
But if MXM wins this match, that does a lot for them. It's a big win on a pay-per-view against former champion. It at least maybe establishes them for a push you can do with them if you want to do that.
But the thing is, MXM is character guys though, so they could take a loss and still have momentum just for the fact that they're such entertaining characters. So I wouldn't be surprised if they did lose. It won't hurt the momentum. They'll still be fine.
That's fair. That's fair.
You got to put some respect on Mansoor, former Clisplex champion here.
That is true. That is true.
I love that.
Has one of the
daily.
Yeah, McKinnon says in the chat, but I wouldn't be shocked if this match ends up as like a pre-show match as well.
Well, I think the Acclaim, you know, they
or
just
could we
had
do something. Go ahead, Pluggo. Yeah, I'll let you
I'm
finish.
just they just had that big feud with the Bucks that ended up doing nothing for them either. So I don't know if they know what to do with the Acclaimed right now. Maybe the Acclaim needs a loss. Maybe there's a little like they could have a little bit of a internal, like not beef, maybe something like we're seeing with the New Day, where it's kind of like, like, are we good? Are we not good? Like, what's going on? We're taking all these losses, and maybe we see some more edge to the Acclaimed. I don't know. I don't know what to do with it, but it'll be a fun match. I'm excited for it.
Yeah, and that's what my thing that I was going to say is this something where maybe they Acclaimed do take a loss and this leads to a heel turn for the Acclaimed, or
jump daddy ass
eventually a breakup of the Acclaimed, because I do think, like Pluggo just said, they do need a little something. Maybe not even a breakup, but if they both went heel, like they turned into a heel team, like I think they need a little bit of shuffling with the act a little bit. You mentioned the New Day, dude. We didn't even talk. We were talking WWE all the time. We didn't. That's my favorite thing that's happening on Raw.
The best thing on TV.
Unbelievable. I don't know how that didn't. We didn't talk about it, but man, that New Day stuff, I am digging.
Speaking of the New Day, just to plug our show again, we have an incredible interview with Big E. So hey,
hell yeah,
go check that out.
Hell yeah,
you should.
Big E is you want to talk about another sweetheart of a man?
He's coming back next week.
Hell
stop.
Nah, he's retired probably.
He's coming back next week.
My thing is, I know we're talking AEW.
They could do something with him on TV.
He's there every pay-per-view. He does the how I understand, even if he can't wrestle, like how has he not shown up on a Raw this last month and been like, what the hell is going on here, guys?
Yeah, you two need to chill. You need to calm down.
It's his decision. I don't know. I think
maybe.
Yeah, being close to a ring, it itches him probably. Yeah. I know he really want to lace those boots up again, so he probably just like, nah, just leave.
Plus, you don't want to tease the fans if you can't follow through with it, because we're if we see him getting involved, we're gonna get excited and think he's returning. And if he's not, then
that's true. That's true. Yeah. All right. You know what's going to be money? This 3-way match for the AEW International Championship match. Will Ospreay defending against Ricochet and Konosuke Takeshita. This match is going to be incredible with these three. I can't even imagine how good this
what's
is
the story? It's all flippy dippy shit. What are you talking about? That's not even real wrestling, JPJ. God.
The Twitters, the tweets.
Yeah. My mind goes here. My mind goes two ways with this one. I think my official pick, I think when we did the preview show last night, is I picked Takeshita. But I could see this as being a way that the Don Callis stuff, Ricochet sneaks a win here, and Ricochet gets the belt. Because then you could do
the belt already.
Well, because they had that great match on Dynamite 2 weeks ago that got ruined by Takeshita, which is why we're here at this match, right? So let's say they're having a banger. Don Callis, Kyle Fletcher, maybe they could do a Kyle Fletcher heel turn on Will too if they wanted to do that. Like, there's a way that I could see the Callis situation kind of taking away Takeshita, like, being muddled with Takeshita and Ospreay, and then Ricochet grabs the belt, and then you can have Ospreay, because I don't think Ospreay needs to have the belt when he's going through the Callis family. Like, I feel like he can do that without the belt, and then you give the belt to Ricochet, you establish him being here as dude, this is not the same old Ricochet that you guys have been watching over there for 8 years. Like, this is a different guy. He wins the belt. And then once Will is done with the Callis family, a couple months, maybe it's Full Gear, maybe it's World's End, he goes, hey, Rick, remember how we didn't have a conclusion to our match? Well, you and me now again, one-on-one for the belt. I think that there's a way they could do that. Again, I said I am picking Takeshita, but I do think Ricochet leaving with the title would not shock me at all. Would not shock me at all.
Yeah.
I will say, if Ricochet was to leave with the title, I would like to see a different character. I want to see him more. Yeah, something, because I feel like we've been seeing the same Ricochet for past decade, like you said.
Yeah.
It's like, I got to see something different.
Yeah, and it's
Maybe
like
Ricochet is a part of the Callis family.
that would be wild. That would be wild if they did that. That'd be nuts.
Comes out one of them suits and just is like,
it's
part of the family now.
I'm thoroughly enjoying the matches we're seeing from Ricochet. Obviously, he's one of the best ever. Like in ring, like I'm thoroughly enjoying him. But like I was of the opinion that it was like he should have won the Battle Royal. To me, like if he's debuting and you want us, the wrestling viewer, to not just see him and go, oh, I know who Ricochet is. Like I know, I've seen Ricochet, and you want to make him what you want to make him. Okay, well, yeah, he's winning his one-on-one matches against lesser opponents, and we had the non-finish against Will, but he lost. I feel like he would have lost that match to Danielson at All Out, but him immediately showing up and getting a world title match because he won a Battle Royal in his debut, he's automatically important. And now they've done well with him since he's been there, but he needs to. I feel like putting the belt on him.
Could you imagine the Don Callis family getting involved to screw Ospreay just for that belt to end up on Ricochet's shoulders?
That would be hilarious.
Yeah,
major heat.
Yeah, and then that gets Callis even more pissed.
Takeshita
takes it out on Will. Yeah, and then Will has to run through all. He has to run through Takeshita, and then it's the Fletcher and him, and then again,
if Fletcher wears another White Sox jersey on TV, I'm done with him. That's for sure.
He's from Australia. He doesn't know. He doesn't know.
But I think Takeshita is the right decision to win the match, just because I've seen reports that AEW wants to push Takeshita as a main eventer, so this would be a way to get him to that level.
But he needs it too. He needs that big win, and maybe we'll get an Ospreay Ricochet tag team versus the Callis family. I could see that.
That could happen.
Yeah.
That could surely happen. You agree with Cooley? You think Takeshita too?
For sure, 100%. For sure. I can't see Will. I love Will. I love Ospreay, but it's time for something different.
Yeah.
Can't retain at all.
Yeah, I agree.
That was fast, though. He just won that title.
It's true. It's true.
Fighting for the world one, man. Like, he's really that good.
Yeah.
Oh, man. We have one of my favorites. AEW Women's World Championship. Willow Nightingale going after the strap against Mariah May, who will be defending. I would certainly love a Willow Nightingale heavyweight championship title reign, but I do not think we're getting that. I think this is Mariah May continuing where she's going. We still haven't seen Toni Storm return since All In. I expect that to happen. I don't know if it'll happen on Saturday, but I expect it to happen sometime soon. Cooley, I'll let you lead on this one. Like, what do you think Willow has a chance there? I like the feud and the build that they've done. I think it's been fun.
The build is great, but I think she stands no chance. I really think this is Mariah. This is the Mariah era, man.
It is.
I was so excited when she won it All In because I've been following their feud. I loved it. She turned on her boss or whatever. I saw something in the news that Toni Storm was in Japan and she mentioned something about AEW. So I don't know if that was like a little mini sneak shots, and maybe she might come back for WrestleDream.
Yeah.
And try to challenge Mariah again. But I do want to see Mariah, ride this thing on for a couple more months till next year.
Yeah, I don't think the money would be in Toni coming back to screw Mariah out of the title to put it on Willow. I think Toni wants to get that gold back from Mariah. So if anything, she would show up after the match, I think, and just beat her down or something. As much as I love Willow Nightingale and she's fantastic, and it's like the right opponent but the wrong time, because this is just starting for Mariah. It's just not a good timing thing.
Yeah. We got Shep saying that Willow will have gold in the next year, and she absolutely should. I agreed. All right. We are down to our last two matches we're chatting about. We have the AEW World Tag Team Championship match. It is the Young Bucks defending against Private Party.
Do you not respect our EVPs?
No, I love the Bucks, and I love this gimmick.
They're hilarious.
Private Party's not winning this. We know that.
Ooh, I'm going to disagree with you.
Oh, the Bucks.
I will say this: John Moxley beat Isaiah Cassidy to an inch of his life, and the next week he's like, "I'm fine. My hand's a little banged up. Give me the Young Bucks." It's like,
I will go into this saying that you are most certainly almost right that the Young Bucks are going to defend these titles correctly. However, me being different, I was at the second ever Dynamite when Private Party upset the Young Bucks, and I feel like you could do a very cool thing at this show and run it back.
Be honest.
Out of nowhere.
Be honest. You just want to be right here because you will never let it.
I desperately want to be right. I desperately want to be right.
So you can be like, I told all you mother.
Listen, I look at this card, and even though I think it's going to be a great show, there is a lot of predictability on this card.
Sure.
And when I look at this card and I go, if they're going to throw a surprise out there, or there's going to be a one of those moments that's like, oh my God, what? Like Tony D beating Obafemi, that type of stuff. What the hell? Out of nowhere. There's a history with Private Party one up in the Bucks like this. You do it again. The Bucks can win it back next month. Who gives a shit? The Bucks can win it back. Fine. Private Party, and I said this kind of over the last couple of weeks, and I want you guys' opinion on it too. That was the second ever Dynamite. You basically opened up your company with having this team that nobody knew who they were, beat the most important team in your company, and in 5 years, they haven't touched the tag titles. You put them in that moment in week 2, telling all of us, these guys are going to matter. They beat the Young Bucks. They're important. They're one of our future stalwarts of the tag team division. Haven't won the titles at all. And there were injuries. I get it. Mark Quinn was out for a long. There were things that happened. It wasn't like, but that 5 years later for them to never have
but
those
that's what
belts
happens when you weigh 24 ounces of vodka cranberry. You just
maybe. Maybe. I just think there's a fun thing they could do with them upsetting the Bucks again out of nowhere. You run it back, and then the Bucks are like, holy shit, do these guys have our number? And then they and the Bucks can win it back. Like I said, down the line. I'm not saying Private Party needs to win it and hold the belt for a year. Like that doesn't need to happen. And it probably won't happen, but yes, I want to be right. I'm fantasy booking on this one. I want a surprise on this show. And I think Private Party getting the Bucks number again, the same way they did 5 years ago. I think that would be fun. I think that would
You hear that, Tony? You can do the funniest thing ever. Funniest thing ever.
Yeah. That again, probably not.
Tony Khan watches this show. Absolutely.
Hey, you never know.
Sure, man. He be on a net.
Yeah.
You never know who's watching.
Yeah. That's kind of how I'm thinking about this tag matches. Again, probably going to be wrong, and I know that. But
so you're going Private Party, are the rest of us going the Young Bucks here?
I'm going Young Bucks.
Yeah, we're definitely going the Bucks of youth. But if Private Party did pick up a win, I would be cool with that. Just because I love Zay and him moaning in people's ears. It's hilarious.
the best.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Back in the day, you'd be like, "Hey, come in," and then he would do it.
So I have a buddy, like a best friend of mine. He does that all the time, the moan, and he does it so often that now my kids do it.
Oh no!
And they're like the chicken strips. Oh yeah! And I'm like, shut up!
Like, you're 6, bro. Calm down, will you?
What are you doing? Don't listen to Uncle Seth. He doesn't know what he's talking about.
That's hilarious.
Hilarious.
All right,
Zay has not been moaning though. He's super serious now.
He's super serious here.
He has the broken hand, so he has to be serious.
What do you think about Stokely kind of trying to recruit potentially?
I'm down with that because Stokely is the most entertaining man on TV. So apparently the Chris Statlander thing is done.
They swapped that right.
Yeah, that's over with.
Yeah.
Right. So if Stokely gets involved here, hey, let's do it.
Yeah.
Why not?
Yeah. All right, it's main event time. AEW World Championship. Bryan Danielson defending against Jon Moxley, who we assume his new BCC will be in tow. At least Marina Shafir will probably be out there with him.
Yeah.
Bryan has been saying all this time, once he loses that belt, his full-time career is over. We obviously saw Jon Moxley try to murder him at All Out. And Brian's back. He said, we're going to have a war on Saturday.
The discourse around plastic bags that week.
Before we dive into who we all think is going to win, do you think Moxley is the right guy to be the guy to end Danielson, if you guys think that Saturday might be it for Brian?
I believe they have some history too. So,
They do.
you know,
A lot of it.
so for him to, you know, end Brian Danielson in his hometown, it would be crazy. And then I guess that's when Shane McMahon pops up or something.
It's not happening.
We can talk about that too. There are rumors. There are rumors.
Wait, do you guys believe the Shane McMahon rumors?
No.
Do you buy into it? No,
I
right? Like, there's
do.
no way.
I do. You guys don't? Are you messing with me?
Why would you think
Are
Shane
you
McMahon would be this guy?
Are
Why
you
would it be
telling
Shane
me?
McMahon?
Why wouldn't it be?
Because
That
what
would be
about this group?
amazing.
What about this group feels like Shane McMahon to you?
Nothing at all.
This is a group that is trying to murder people. Murder.
Shane is mad that he was outcasted. He was casted out from WWE, so he's back for revenge and he wants to murder
That's
people.
right. That's right.
I'm
He wants
bringing
his
with a bald
business.
head.
I am bringing
What a
Raw
shame,
Underground to AEW like you dream about. That is
You're
happening.
telling me during that Vince talk you didn't get the vibe that Shane was not vibing with what his dad is doing. He wants to bring back the purity that is wrestling. So he's going to go to the other company and just start murdering dudes.
I'm going to be honest with you. I thought Shane McMahon came out looking the best in that documentary.
Yo, for sure.
I thought Shane came out looking the best of everyone.
Yeah.
I just like chaos in my wrestling.
No, that's fair. My problem is, and we're wrestling fans. We've been wrestling fans for a long time. We know when we create, when one of us creates something, it just goes a place. And now I feel slightly nervous because I feel like when we find out if there is a leader or somebody above Moxley in this, and it's not Shane, it's going to get shit on automatically because everyone's going to be disappointed that it wasn't Shane, when in reality, the only people that thought it was Shane are wrestling fans because we created it. We created this.
Yeah, we went off a picture.
But you remember that, like when Brody Lee and Matt Hardy were debuting, everybody thought Matt Hardy was going to be part of the Dark Order, and it turned out to be Brody, and that worked out okay. Maybe if it's not Shane, it'll work out. I just love the idea of a McMahon in AEW leading a faction who's there to just destroy AEW. It just makes me excited. It warms my heart.
And that would make sense. And look at, if I'm Tony, I would bring Shane McMahon into my company. I would bring him in for more of the behind the scenes stuff than on camera. But he's obviously, Shane McMahon would be a valuable asset to your company.
For sure.
And listen, if we end WrestleDream with friggin' Shane McMahon showing up,
oh my God,
that shit's gonna explode. That's gonna be the internet's gonna die. I think it's gonna be like, it's gonna be unbelievable.
Man.
But yes,
but for the record, like, regardless of whether it's Shane McMahon or not, there's gonna be a portion of fans that shit on whatever the payoff is, just because
there always is.
I hate to say it, but the internet is not kind to AEW.
No.
Yeah.
No.
Nope, they are not.
Believe me, I see it all. That I post anytime you post AEW stuff. It's just like, I'm like, you guys aren't watching the show yet.
Like, it's very clear in your comments that you don't watch.
Like,
so
I literally today, somebody got in a fight with somebody in my comment section about how AEW has butchered Hangman since his return, and I was like, this is the best version of Hangman we've ever. Are you watching the show?
Hangman is the main character of AEW.
Yes.
Hangman is the guy. He's the top
guy. People just
to me, like, from a character standpoint.
On it. I don't understand that. It's wrestling. More wrestling is good for everybody. But we could go down that rabbit hole for another 2 hours. But I'm here to say, I think we're glossing over it. So Brian Danielson, is he leaving? Are they gonna, because AEW traditionally likes to end their pay-per-views on a high and leave the people happy, especially at hometowns. I think this would be the one where it's like you just have Moxley absolutely just wipe the floor with Danielson in front of all of his friends and family, and then Christian Cage comes out and picks up the pieces.
That's what I think. I think Christian's leaving as the champion as well. That's
what do you guys think?
I got a different theory.
Okay, do it.
Here,
Theory.
here.
I think
Jay
I
McMahon.
think, nah, I think
Best
Christian,
in the world, baby.
so Christian he has to come out with the contract, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
yeah.
I think Christian comes out with the contract. Darby Allin comes out of nowhere and takes the contract and signs it himself or something like that. Something crazy. I don't know.
Imagine.
Yeah,
Give me toxic. Give me
even though
toxic
it was Mox and Darby, and I was like, it makes more sense for Mox to go and fight Danielson. That whole time in the back of my head, I was like, I think Darby should be the guy. I think Darby should have won, and then Darby should have, and hometown Washington versus Washington, put the new guy over as this is the next guy. See you later.
Yeah.
But obviously, the story with this makes a ton of sense. I think Danielson actually wins the match. So I misspoke earlier. I think Danielson actually wins the match, but Christian Cage is leaving as the champion. That's what I think, because I think that gives the Washington people their pop. Danielson then wins, and then Christian, or maybe, they're, because I'm expecting the BCC to be out there. I'm expecting to see Wheeler Yuta. I think Wheeler Yuta is going to turn on Danielson.
Yeah.
Man.
It's obviously happening.
Danielson's old school. He's not. I mean, he's old school. Sting was old school, but Danielson didn't want this belt to begin with, and he's not going to let Tony Khan let him leave as champion and then do some tournament. He's going out on his back. 100%.
Yeah, and I think there's a way you do it
Danielson's a sicko like we are.
Yeah, if Danielson wins and then there's some sort of stuff after the match where maybe Wheeler does turn on him or whatever, and that he's laid out, and then you see Christian come out with that smirk and turtleneck, and he goes, all right, and then he leaves. I think that gives an excuse for Danielson to then be like, hey, I know I said when I lost the belt, my full-time career was over, but I won that match, and I get it. I didn't leave as the champion, but I won that match. We have unfinished business. And then he has one more match with Moxley or Wheeler or whoever. You can get a couple
all
more
the internet
matches.
haters are going to be like, you said you were done.
But I think there's a way they can do that if they do it.
Shep's saying Danielson will lose the belt in a non-AEW
non-AEW
ring.
How long do you think he's holding this? What do you
Where's
think?
he going? Ring of Honor ring?
No, is he thinking like the Wrestle Dynasty show in Japan, maybe, or something? Where are you thinking that's going to happen? Quan, how are you? Where's your mind go when it comes to this?
So I do think Bryan Danielson is retaining, and I don't think Christian is cashing in. I just think Bryan Danielson is going to continue what he's doing, but I wouldn't be mad if Jon Moxley does take it, because Jon Moxley is one of the biggest stars in AEW. And right now, I'm very intrigued by this whole romper stomper faction that we have. So, hey, if we're gonna have a heel champion, right? I'm down. I'm down. Jon Moxley for sure. But like I said, I think Bryan Danielson is walking out of that pay-per-view with the title.
Yeah, I think all of us just kind of immediately just was like, oh well, he'll lose it at WrestleDream in Washington, and it's his home state, and he's just gonna lose it. But I don't. Yeah, I don't know. I kind of see him, as this has been built here a little bit, like I feel like he is going to win.
Birdie and Buddy must be just a nightmare to hang out with.
Maybe.
He is just like, I am not going home yet. I am not ready for that.
Not ready.
Swerve tried to reunite him with his kids. He wasn't having it. And so
I know.
Yeah.
Listen, I got 4. I get it, Danielson. I understand. I get it. They're a lot sometimes.
They are.
But anyway,
I do think, I don't know where it happens, but I do think we'll see Adam Cole on Saturday as well. I think Adam Cole will make I think we're getting a Lashley debut and an Adam Cole return. I think those are two things that we'll see that are none on the card and stuff like that. But all in all, it's going to be a good show. There's a lot of really good matches on here. AEW, they don't really miss with their pay-per-views.
They don't.
They just don't miss. So it's going to be a great show. I do think there is a lot of predictability to it, which I'm hoping there's a couple surprises here or there, which kind of are like, whoa, kind of stuff. But all in all, I think we're in store for another top-notch, really good AEW pay-per-view on Saturday.
Can't wait.
Yeah, it's going to be good. It's going to be good.
And there's nothing wrong with predictability, because sometimes doing the predictable thing is the right thing. Because when you're just trying to shock people over and over, then you're Vince Russo.
100%.
I don't know if that's what we want.
Bro.
This is what needs to happen, bro. Bryan Danielson turns heel. What?
What I would have done, bro, is I would have put him on a pole.
Judy Bagwell?
Oh,
Put some
Russo.
Viagra in there.
Unbelievable.
I was the one that came up with the screw job, bro. It was me. It wasn't Cornette. It wasn't anybody else. I don't get the credit I deserve, bro. Brett didn't want to do the job. All right. I can do that all day. Let's not do that. We're already in overtime.
Yes.
Right.
Even
I was
though
just
for
gonna
you
say-
West Coast folks, it's fine.
Nice and easy. But I was
It's
gonna
7
say,
p.m.
I know, what the hell, man. I can't even imagine. But
Woo.
I was gonna say this has been a blast tonight. Thank you both for joining us this evening. Hopefully, this is the first of many times we'll be chatting with each other on these interwebs. But before we get out of here, why don't the both of you plug your stuff, plug where they can follow you individually, where you can follow and see your show, do your thing. Whoever wants to lead.
Cool. You
You guys can follow me on Instagram or X. I was about to say Twitter or X at jcooley, JAYECOOLEY. And you can follow our page, Wrestling with the Homies, on TikTok, X, and Instagram, and on YouTube as well.
Yeah, we're everywhere. We're everywhere. Quan LM for my personal Instagram account. Wrestling with the Homies everywhere. Everywhere. We have a cool show. It's a very fun show. It's a lot different than what you might be used to. So come check us out. We have a great interview with Big E. We have an explosive interview with AJ Francis where he was just he was kind of going crazy. It was a wild interview. So go check those out. And hey, Monday through Friday, we go live. We talk wrestling every single day. Sometimes there's nothing to talk about, but we still go live and find something to cover. So come check us out.
Love it. Pluggo, do the damn thing.
Can
so we can get out of here.
confirm it's a quick, nice, easy, fun listen, you guys. I'm a fan. It's now in my rotation on my drive home and when I'm driving the kids around. So you guys are absolutely amazing. Thank you so much for coming on and hanging out with us. Follow them. But follow me as well. I am Pluggo on everything. Just search Pluggo. You'll see my face. I'm right there. I'm on the road to 10K on Facebook. So please head to Facebook. Tell all your friends. Let's get me there by the end of the year. That's the goal. But yeah, for the show at Between Two Beers, at Be2 Beers on all social medias, it's which you'll see what we got going on. We never know what's going to happen. Sometimes we have guests that are announced. Sometimes we don't. You just got to show up. But that's where you can find us there. What else we got? We had the WrestleDream preview with Mike from Indeed and Kimmy Sokol right here on this very channel last night. So go check that out. That was a lot of fun. That's really all I got going on right now. Kind of a light week for old Pluggo. I kind of like it. It's nice.
There it is. You can follow me at JPJ Loves Gaming on all social media platforms. Here, obviously, every Thursday night, 8 p.m., the flagship here, Between Two Beards on Love Wrestling. Tuesdays and Thursdays with my friend Drew, Firmly Love Wrestling. We talk WWE on Tuesdays, AEW on Thursdays. That's where you can check me out there. Again, fellas, awesome time tonight. You are welcome back anytime. Open door. This was a lot of fun, a blast. Appreciate you guys making the time to join us tonight. Go follow them, Wrestling with the Homies. They weren't lying when they were saying their show rules. So go give them some love.
Also follow For Exposure Pod. We go live Saturday morning at 10 o'clock. I forgot all about it.
That was you killed it. You killed it. You should feel good about that. All right. You guys know the drill. Until next time, thank you all for everybody in the chat supporting, loving, doing all that stuff. Everybody say hi to Sue. And until next time, peace out.
Sue.
Peace.
Hi,
Hey
Sue.
there, Plugo and JPJ. It's Trent's mom, Sue, and I have a bone to pick with you. So, I understand that you guys are being real idiots and spending your entire monthly budget. You've got to be kidding me. This is not the way to be when you're trying to run a business. Your boss, Spencer, is really pissed off at you. I'm pissed off at you. You have some nerve. Get a grip. You have to control yourself. You can't just go out and spend all the money that you're making, you Two Beards guys. Oh no, this is coming out so stupid. Anyway, behave yourselves or I'm going to cut you off from watching AEW. You're no longer going to get to know, be able to meet my son. What? Or me. I'm sorry, this is like, I don't know. Anyway, thanks so much for being fans. Watch.